Hey friends, and welcome back to Talking Smark. Today we're breaking a long silence and bringing you a listener-requested review from Nick in Michigan. Shout out to Nick. Today we're going to be covering the Battle Royal at Albert Hall from October 3rd of 1991, an event that I don't believe either of us had seen prior to Nick's suggestion.
And I feel like Nick must hate us for some reason to make us to suggest this, because saying it was a good show would be a lie. It was not. It was bad. It was real bad.
It was sort of a house show live event sort of thing, similar today to what you'd see with Starrcade, like on the network, not like WCW or NWA Starrcade, or like the Saudi Arabia shows like the Greatest Royal Rumble. Probably not like the Crown Jewel, because now they're doing Roman Lesnar and more important matches on those. But it's kind of a for the live crowd only type house show event.
And we think we know why. We think we know why it became a video and recorded, but we'll that'll be at the end of it. That's kind of where it comes into play.
Yeah. It took place during the WWF European Rampage Tour in 1991 in the Royal Albert Hall in London, England, in front of a crowd of approximately 5,000. I say approximately because I can't actually find ticket sales statistics or money earned, or I don't know anything about the actual revenue from this event, but I believe that's basically capacity for the hall. And it was broadcast in the UK on Sky Movies Plus, which is a kind of a subscription service channel and not one of the Royal Charter back networks like BBC. So there's commercials throughout this thing, and you can tell even if you're watching it ad-free on Peacock.
Yes, the parts, like they cut away the actual commercials, but they left like the fade into and fade out of commercial there, and then they leave it on the screen for, I don't know, a couple seconds. So it's weird. There's definitely commercials there. It also makes more sense how the event was set up with some of the interviews we get, where it's like
the format is awkward. It's super awkward with back-to-back interviews or back-to-back matches featuring almost some of the same exact talent. And
or back-to-back segments with the exact same guy who suddenly ran backstage because he was chased, and now he's wearing his entrance attire under his sweaty. We'll get there, but it's a weird show. Can't say that I enjoyed it per se, but there are a few highlights, and the commentary team is one of the highlights.
Exactly. Yeah, Gorilla and Bobby are absolutely unbeatable as a team. Well, I can't say unbeatable because I do love Jesse Ventura almost as much as I love Bobby when he's in the company of Vince McMahon and Monsoon. I didn't like Jesse as much in WCW, but when he's there with Vince or Gorilla, he's fantastic. So close second, but Bobby and Gorilla are probably
and so this is in London in a Royal Hall. So Bobby's in full heel mode. He's now Sir Robert of Heenan. You may refer to him as Lord Brain if you'd like.
Exactly.
And he just over the top, just everything you can imagine that would be like stereotypical what an American would say about Britain is said.
Yeah. This event wasn't broadcast in the United States as far as I could tell. It didn't reach us until it got a video release. It is available on Peacock here in the US and the WWE Network for the rest of you worldwide. But the network broadcast does begin with a disclaimer reading, presented in the most complete form possible due to original production technical difficulties. And I'm not sure what's missing. We don't know if somebody happened to be at this event or has the VHS and knows what's missing from this network version. Let us know.
Yeah, because it looked pretty much, other than the commercials cut out, it was there. And I kind of wish they had just lost the entire event. Would have been fine with me, really. just put the last 5 minutes on, and that's all you need. Boom, done. But we'll get into that as we go. But the match, like the if there's like a subtitle, you know how like In Your House DX, this one would be Battle Royal at the Royal Albert Hall Rest Hold.
Yes.
There is a lot of rest holds in this entire show, like just in places that they don't even make sense. Like the first match, you wouldn't read the name the Nasty Boys versus the Rockers and go, there's going to be a lot of rest holds in this.
Yep. Sleepers, chin locks, arm. Yep.
The arm
We're going to have
stretch.
lots of it.
Oh my God. Yeah. So the first match,
the Saskatchewan, what was it? I don't know.
Saskatchewan three-handled family Gradunza, I think. Something like that.
Yes, that sounds actually
that's about right. Yeah. But yeah, no. So the first match, Nasty Boys versus the Rockers. A couple things to point out. Jacket spots.
Yes, jacket spots. So it starts off right away with Marty Jannetty's wearing an entrance vest. Like Shawn Michaels
their thing.
Yeah, it's got tassels and all that bullshit. And then the Nasty Boys are wearing their leather jackets because they're fucking badasses, right? You know, they're so badass. So then when they go to take their jackets off and they throw them, they're like taunting each other. And then Jannetty, I think, puts on Sags's. I can't remember if it's Knobs or Sags's, but I want to say it's Sags's.
They're the same. They're the same person with different color hair.
Yeah, they're trying to get cheap heat from the crowd over fucking entrance attire.
I mean, he did blow his nose in it, so that was something. But
yeah, I mean, Michaels does that. Remember the flag, the Canadian flag.
That's kind of
that's like a thing. That's like a spot. That's a Michaels spot. As sure as a super kick is also the blow your nose with your fucking gimmick spot.
Yeah. It was like 5 minutes of this. Like a lot of start your show off with a bang, not with a fucking jacket spot, please.
Yeah. And it just goes.
It didn't get better from there.
No. And I started to notice that the crowd has like a bunch of Hulk Hogan fingers, and he's nowhere on this card.
Yeah. So. No, Hogan has nothing to do with this. I think his name gets mentioned once by Flair, I think. During his rant,
Flair mentions him, and then Bobby starts. Obviously, Bobby, anytime he's still hot in his feud with Hulk Hogan at this time.
Yeah.
He's yellow, just like his back. That's why he wears yellow trunks. He's a coward. That's why he's away in Hollywood, because he's afraid of the real champion, Ric Flair. He goes off, right. And I love Bobby for it.
Yeah. So the first match that's the start of it. We start off HBK, Jerry Sags in the ring. I wasn't expecting much. I even put in here. Hopefully this will be okay because the Rockers you can't have a bad match with them, right? They're great workers. Fucking wrong.
Right.
You absolutely can. There's a lot of stupid stuff that happens in this match. It is cool though. Shawn Michaels doesn't have a protected finisher yet.
No, yeah. There's this great spot with a double super kick. And then a crossbody from Marty Jannetty off the top rope, and it looks like the super kick is just any old move in a match. But honestly, it looks like anything you'd see in a Young Bucks match nowadays. So
yeah, it's just a cool. I think you said this was 4-ish months before the. Something. I think it was like you said 4-ish months before the whole split with the Rockers or something like that. So yeah, interesting to see that he's Before that, he just throws out super kicks. And then obviously, once he takes it over, we don't see a super kick in WWE that's not Michaels for, probably 15 years?
Yeah, well, exactly. And this is October of 91. And just for the context of it, I wanted to look it up. And the Rocker split is only 4 months away in January.
Yeah.
So the barbershop spot is not far from here. Yeah. Speaking of other characters who have no business on television other than their relationship to Hulk Hogan, Brutus Beefcake.
Yeah, no, I respect I respect him. I'm not going to shit on any wrestlers unless they do really dumb.
You're not going to shit on Brutus the fucking Barber Beefcake?
No, him I am, because he's trash. But the Nasty Boys aren't. They did do things apart.
The Disciple, the Booty Man, the Zodiac, Brutus the fucking Zodiac Barber Beefcake.
No, yes, no. Wow. Classic. But yes, the Nasty Boys, I don't understand why they've been such a prominent tag team for so long. And I know was it Knobs is not in a good way right now. Right?
Yeah. So if I'm not a huge Nasty Boys fan, but obviously, any worker in the business, they've done a lot to entertain you over the years. So Brian Knobs has a GoFundMe right now with some medical expenses. Last I checked, that we're very close to reaching the goal. They might already be there, but if you want to help out, just go on GoFundMe and search legendary pro wrestler Brian Knobs needs help. That's with 1B, even though we're used to spelling it with 2. 1B Knobs, Brian Knobs.
With that being said, don't care for his work, never did. ECW is really the only place that did anything, and I guess the hardcore and WCW division, because that's all they do. They throw chairs and hit. That's what they do. They don't wrestle. They really don't wrestle.
Well,
to put it nicely, they're in the ring.
I almost wore the
wrestling.
Balls Mahoney shirt today. You can't even see my shirt. I'm wearing the Undertaker shirt.
Oh, okay. No.
But I mean, that's because he's on this card. I almost wore the Balls Mahoney shirt today, and he was a walking chair spot. So
yes, that's true. So yeah, this was a very boring match. A lot of pet peeves of mine, like the referee not seeing tags and then allowing it. There's an arm stretch that goes on for at least 5-6 minutes where the heel distracts the referee. The Rockers switch out. If you're gonna swap to do the same move, why? Like, if you're gonna do that, do a double team. They didn't even stomp him. They just swapped real quick for no apparent reason. The ref turns around and goes, "Oh yeah, you must have tagged. We're good," which is really annoying because a bit later in this match, that doesn't fucking matter anymore.
No, yeah, and it also doesn't work because Jannetty just has long brown hair and Shawn Michaels has a blonde mullet, and Shawn Michaels is 2 inches taller than Marty Jannetty.
Yeah, it's not like the Bellas before. Yeah, it's not like the Bellas before Brie got her tit job. They don't look the same. It doesn't.
No,
work.
They don't look at all like each other. You can't do that spot. Other than Danny Davis is a fucking idiot throughout this entire event. Apparently,
shout out to Jericho.
I know he's apparently a legend. He was he played the evil referee character before Nick Patrick and all that. shit.
Yeah.
But I don't give a fuck about Danny Davis other than his involvement in owning OVW when Jim Cornette was basically the booker.
Absolutely. And shout out, I put in here, there's so few interesting moves that I can call almost all of them out. We get an arm drag, so shout out to Jericho. Classic, one of his moves.
Chin lock.
One of his 1,000+ moves, in fact, to be fair.
Oh, yes,
we get
the 1001. 1001 holds.
Yeah. No, I thought he was the man
Dean
of 1,000.
Malenko is the man of 1,000 holds. Chris Jericho is the man of 1,001 holds.
Yep, because he knows one more. Facts. Welcome to wrestling. Gotta love it. But yeah, this was a very boring match. But here, they do the twin magic. They swap again, and the ref doesn't see it. And at this point, the ref just goes, "No, you can't. I didn't see it." It's like, you just let them.
See it. You saw him see it.
But now
this happens a lot though currently, in AEW. I want to be pissed off about it, but every fucking Young Bucks match, Rick Knox is like, "Oh, I guess all 4 of you are in the ring."
But my thing is, at least AEW kind of gives them they have a kayfabe reason, hey, the referees can kind of do what they want. It's up to their discretion. Like in a singles match, if weapons happen, they can okay, go ahead, hit it with it a little more. That's fine.
But they don't explain that well enough to make it their quote unquote sports-like presentation.
It's kind of iffy, but it really distracted me on this. Like in a Young Bucks match, at least, there's so much shit going on when they're all in there that it's kind of like, oh, whatever. This is nope. There's 2 dudes in a rest hole.
There's too little going on for you not to be paying attention. What the fuck are you? Both guys have a guy who's brunette and blonde.
Yeah,
on each team.
Just half of the team can wrestle.
Kind of within a couple inches of each other. They have similar body types, but one guy's got brown hair and one guy's got blonde hair.
Yeah, and then one team can wrestle and one team weighs 300 pounds.
I can't keep track of them. Too many guys. 4.
Another pet peeve of mine they do is that stupid spot where the tag team partner pulls down the rope, which can work if you're already launching into the rope and you're not looking back and they pull it. I can totally see how you'd flip over the rope there. No, Shawn Michaels gets Irish whipped, and from the point he hits the other rope, he's staring at, I think it was Sags, dangling off the outside of the rope the whole time. And I feel like Michaels, because I know we all know how Michaels is, and I feel like, how sometimes he just says, what, fuck it, I don't care. This looks like shit, whatever. I feel like he probably just went...
This isn't overselling Michaels, though. He's not doing the shit.
He just ran straight into it and took the bump. I was like, okay, whatever. It's not a good. Basically, what we're saying is this match fucking blew.
Yes, and when they go back and do the same, almost the same spot as you're talking about, when Michaels dodges and Knobs hits the turnbuckle, and then he super kicks Sags.
Yeah,
that sets up for the first false finish. And the crowd's really hot for the false finish. They want the Rockers to win.
Yeah. And then we go into the actual finish. And boy, do I... So what happens is basically the Rockers Irish whip both of the Nasty Boys into each other, center of the ring. Both Nasty Boys go down to the mat. The Rockers look at each other for a couple seconds. It's a couple seconds, which is a long time in wrestling when nothing's happening. They're just like,
yeah. Mississippi's a long word for wrestling fans.
Yeah, and so at that point, they do the. I'm pretty sure they fucked up. I think one of the Nasty Boys was supposed to stay up. So Marty gets Irish whipped by Michaels into the rope, and they do like a shitty gorilla press slam, except he drops him and he doesn't actually land on the Nasty Boy. I think it was. I don't know which one. Whichever of them. Who cares?
It doesn't matter.
He did
Nasty
like a double.
Boy won.
He did like a double chest slap for all intents and purposes.
Or was it knob?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. They're both equal, and it was a bad. And then
they're both equal.
that was almost the finish, and then it wasn't because he kicked out. But no one it sounded like 3. The ref's going 2. The commentators thought it was 3. Everyone thinks the match is over, but no. Instead of just shooting this one in the head, we're going to keep going. We got to get the real finish, which is, of course, Jimmy Hart. Jimmy Hart's out there. You think you're going to have a finish without Jimmy Hart?
Hey, baby, I'm out here from the microphone, baby. We're talking about beans and taters, baby. I'm telling you, get over, baby. You got to win this.
I just want to say what you're hearing right now is not accurate because it sounded like he was yelling into an actual machine that garbles his voice. Nothing he said this whole show into that stupid megaphone could be understood. It was horrible. Like, I know him and I know he's annoying, but in most wrestling shows I've seen him, you can at least understand what he's yelling. No, it's like he dropped his megaphone and they couldn't get another one, and he's just like, "Oh fuck, okay."
I have a different newfound respect and love for Jimmy Hart after watching Legends House, but I will never stop thinking about beans and taters.
So yeah, the
it's
finish
all I eat, baby, is beans and taters, baby.
The finish is basically, how you'd expect. Jimmy throws the weapon in. They beat the guy over the head with the weapon. 1, 2, 3. Nasty Boys win. Crowd fucking dead. They're out of this. They're done with it. Not interested. It was
it's
horrible.
It's a dump of a match, and it's a bummer because it sounds like it's going to be a hot match, and probably whoever booked this card backstage, whether it's Pat Patterson or whoever, is like, oh, this will be one to get the crowd hot. The Rockers and the Nasty Boys, and they do cheap crowd work, and they do slow fucking arm drag spots. Everybody here is just like, oh, we can't find drugs, and the company's paying us to fucking stay in the hotel. We don't care.
Yeah.
Like literally.
So at the end of it, the Nasty Boys win. I went through and I rated every match because I'm a completionist. That was a 2 out of 10, and that's being nice. It was like
a 1 out of 5 for those who like to break.
Yeah, either or. Like, the only point I give it is the Sweet Chin Music spot was cool. That's literally all that happened in the whole match.
Yeah, no, that and a nut shot that the crowd popped for, but basically nothing.
Yeah, it was not. Oh, and by the way, that nut shot, that was the first exciting part of the match. The camera didn't even catch that. They cut away to another camera right at that.
They caught the crowd's reaction, but they didn't catch the actual move. You knew it was going to happen. I wonder if that's an issue, though, in British television. I can't tell you. Maybe something like that is considered too violent.
I don't know. Yeah, it looked to me like, you know how they do it now, where they don't show the spot where Seth Rollins hits the stomp onto Lesnar to win.
And did you hear Edge call it the curb stomp recently?
Yeah,
he did.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they're breaking their own rule.
But you know what I mean. Like, for the longest time after that, they went, "Oh, it's too violent." And so when he does it, instead of seeing the move, they cut to the crowd. That's what happened here.
Oh yeah.
But it was way uglier and dumber, and we don't know why. So 2 out of 10, trash. Erase it from my brain. I did give Bobby the Brain a 10 out of 10 because he's the only reason I didn't just fast forward through this match, because he's on another level this whole show with his incoherent rambling.
Oh yeah, this is the match when they were talking about this is the match when they were talking about the trophy, and he was asking if it's a sword. Yeah, he's just the Royal Samovar trophy. Is that a sword?
He's just going on. It's so good.
It's a samovar. It's a tea. It's tea kettle. Is that a sword? Yes, Lord Brain.
Yes,
Sir Robert of Heenan.
So after this garbage match, we cut into the first interview segment.
which I had higher hopes for than I got, because it was Mean Gene and Ric Flair. And if you were at all a WCW fan in the late 90s or mid to late 90s, you knew Mean Woo Gene. We didn't get that here. We got Ric Flair not talking about his upcoming match, not talking about the Battle Royal, just talking about how he doesn't like Roddy Piper and how he's the real champion. It was the weirdest, lamest, like toned down Ric Flair promo. I've been watching a lot of, like, over this past year, What Happened When with Tony Schiavone has been covering 1986 NWA. Jim Crockett Promotions, right?
Yeah.
And Arn Anderson's been covering 1985 and 1986. Basically just Arn's, like, journey through the business in his early years. And I've seen and heard a lot of Ric Flair in his, like, cocaine-fueled mid to late 80s prime lately. And hearing Ric Flair in 91 just be like, I am the real champion. And he's not all like...
Yeah, like, he's not all
there's something really missing from a Ric Flair promo where he doesn't even address the match he's about to be in, his upcoming opponent, or how he's the man.
Yeah,
none of that's here. So I was kind of bummed out. Like, I got really excited at the visual of seeing the camera go in. Ric Flair looks great in that green robe.
Yep.
You know,
yep.
He wore the green. Mean Gene Okerlund live here with Ric Flair, and he's just kind of subdued, bored, stuck in England. Ric Flair.
Yep. Which is sad because, you know, whatever. But then we cut out of that boring, I wouldn't say boring, but not spirited promo into...
It wasn't a Ric Flair promo.
No, it's just Ric Flair was told he has to be here, and so he's here.
Yes.
Into a match that, on paper, sounds like a banger. Tito Santana
emotionally
and
stable Ric Flair, who isn't within a cunt hair of crying at a moment's notice.
Yeah.
Like, so you don't get like that really super emotional Ric Flair promo yet. He's just there.
He's just there. But yeah,
I mean, he did just get fucking fired or walk out on WCW for wanting him to cut his hair and name himself Spartacus. So I guess he's fucking super pissed off. Apparently, according to Jim Herd, it didn't happen, but I need to listen to that whole interview from Conrad. I'm not paying $9 a month for this ad-free show's bullshit. I'd rather listen to a Geico ad.
So yeah, we go into Santana and Flair here.
Oh yeah, and Santana, paper, we both wrote the same note, and Santana comes out late to his music.
No, early. He
comes out early. Yeah, he comes out before his music starts.
Yeah, so he's like halfway down the entrance ramp by the time the music starts. Yeah, very awkward, very weird, and it is fun that we both noted that. And this does happen later. There's actually a match where they just don't play music at all, and two guys just wander down.
And that was probably leftover 80s by design bullshit, because I guess back in the 80s, heels didn't get music, only baby faces got music.
Yeah,
according to Jim Cornette, he's a heel. He doesn't get music, motherfucker.
Yeah, but there's not a lot to say about this match, if we're honest. It's just typical Flair. Flair's doing Flair things. He's the heel. You know, he's doing Healy Flair things. He's very facially dramatic, and he's yelling a lot, very vocal.
And we know that he's yelling a little too much, because every time he goes, no, it's like very, very, very audible.
Yeah, it's almost like they have a lavalier mic on him for this match. He's that clear. It's a lot. And the match is very boring. I wouldn't say it's very boring. It's just... For a Flair Santana match, it's boring.
A cold Ric Flair match. Ric Flair works great in matches as a carpenter, right? Like the guy who's trying to put somebody over. He's laying the groundwork for this guy to be elevated by this match. And Tito and Flair were not in a program. So if this match was against Roddy Piper, it's almost like, so you know that like at house shows, they actually do test out potential main events.
Yeah, maybe
it's like they knew that this was going to be televised. So instead of this being like a quote unquote house show, this is more like a pay-per-view length Superstars.
Yeah, basically.
Where they're putting two guys against each other, but it's two guys who you know who's going over, or you know that some stupid finish is going to happen. Like,
yeah, and you get the classic Flair things. He gets into it with a couple fans, he does this thing. there's typical cheating. The figure 4 spot was a bit over the top. The referee is now he's playing really dumb and he doesn't know that Flair's yanking on the turnbuckles, and the ropes at this show are very loose. I don't know if you noticed that.
So what I noticed, and I took note of this later in the Battle Royal, is that I don't know if the ring's on a platform, but the ring has no give. So the ropes have all the give. So there's no spring. Anytime anybody takes a flat back on the fucking mat,
it's just on a piece of wood
at all.
Yeah,
it's like
just on
they're just
canvas
getting slammed on plywood.
Yeah, and then the ropes are super low. So anytime anything happens,
and the ropes wiggle every time. So
that's
all that, however, the engineer to set up this arena setup has fucked everybody who worked that night's back.
Yeah,
just you can see the ropes go like this, crazy.
Honestly, maybe that actually might explain why the Rockers did no big spot. Maybe they went out there earlier to warm up and went, "Oh fuck this."
Yeah, well, Shawn would be like, "No."
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. That might be what happened.
Marty's one of those guys with over 5,000 Facebook friends, but I follow him on Facebook because he's already over 5K.
Yeah.
And he responds when you comment to him, and all of his posts are public. So if anybody out here wants to know what Marty Jannetty's up to, just go to Facebook, search Marty Jannetty. It is really him, and he is really that nuts.
Yep. So
remember that time he killed the guy in the bowling alley last year?
Did that happen? I thought he said it didn't.
Well, it wasn't last year that he did it. It was last year that he talked about it on a podcast, and he also then said, "Yeah, he didn't really do it." But there you go. Like, isn't that enough?
Yeah,
to want to follow him.
He's not.
Isn't that Monday?
He's actually crazy. Yeah.
Don't you just want to know what Marty's up to?
Where's Marty now? He's probably in a bowling alley beating.
He lives in Jacksonville, so it's dangerously close to AEW.
Yeah, he's in Jacksonville, and he posts a lot about wanting to fuck underage people, which is not great. Not a good look.
I don't know if he posts about underage people.
He has.
Okay, he probably has. I'm not denying
and then
that
he defended it and said, "Well, I didn't mean it like that." It's like, well, but you said it exactly. You can't. That's not really.
Well, I didn't mean like I meant like like underage, not like underage.
Yeah. Okay, Marty. Okay. So, the highlight of this match is Bobby the Brain Heenan adding Spanish words to every move Santana does. Nothing like that's not a flying forearm. That's the flying jalapeno. Every move
the flying jalapeno
is something Spanish. And
I loved when they like I said, the Union Jack spot. So Bobby's like, "Is that the Jolly Roger?" And Gorilla's like, "You mean the Union Jack?" He's like, "Yeah, the Jack Daniels, whatever."
That's good. So,
great exchange between the two of them, and then it immediately basically goes into Tito coming up on the camera, like Michaels whips him into the side post. This one ring post
Flair does
gets, or that's what I meant. Sorry, not Mike.
Yeah, I got you. Michaels Flair is not out there, folks. He did not come out here for this.
Michaels was in the last match.
Yes.
Flair whips Santana into the ring post, and this same ring post gets a lot of action in every match. Like it's the top left if you're looking like down at the arena. The same ring post gets every match ends up outside the ring, and somebody ends up getting something to do with this ring post. In the last match, that's the ring post that Michaels used to do the nut shot on Sags. In this match, it's the one that Flair whips Santana into. So they must have kind of a hard cam setup or a wired cam setup where they can't bring guys that far around the ring because they keep using the same side of the ring for spots.
I mean, based on how shit the ring's set up, that is unsurprising.
Oh yeah, but like some of these spots are more than enough to make people gig by today's standards. Like people be bleeding on a AEW show in 5 seconds.
Yeah. No, and I thought it was weird. Flair didn't bleed. I mean, it's a house show. I shouldn't have expected it, but it's always unexpected when he's not bleeding, right?
Yeah. And they got the camera right up in Tito's face as Flair whips him into the ring post, and Heenan goes, "Oh, it smells like picante." That's some shit you cannot do today.
No. And then we go into the possibly the highlight of the night, where we basically gaze into Tito Santana's asshole for the finish. That's the finish. I'm not kidding. The finish is we look into his asshole.
The finish is Flair is trying to show us Tito Santana's balls and comes within centimeters of doing so.
The setup makes sense. Tito goes for a roll up, Flair counters it, and he grabs the tights. Seen it in, every match in WWE, basically, where you grab the tights, you pull them up a little bit, and you act like you're really yanking. No, Flair just fucking yanked them.
He actually pulled the tights. And it turned out that Tito's not wearing a jockstrap on this particular night.
Absolutely not.
It's just fucking...
I said that, and then I was like, well, at least we didn't have to look, and then boom, we go into a replay. Camera's perfectly pointed.
And it's the only replay on the entire show. There are heel finishes that deserve replays for this whole show, and this is the only one.
There are a few after matches, but it's always one. And they picked, instead of like the outside where he got, Flair was body slammed on the outside, which is kind of a high impact. Nope. We want to look into fucking Santana's asshole and see some of his balls. So that was the finish there. I gave it a 5 out of 10 because it's exactly what I'd call a mediocre wrestling match.
Vince didn't cut it. If it was fine. Earthquake, he would have cut it. But it was Tito.
It was fine.
It shaved smooth.
Yeah, it was fine. Nothing really happened. It was okay. Give it a 5 out of 10 just because it's Flair Santana. I'm not going to give him less. They didn't botch it. It's not like anything was botched or anything. So it was fine.
Nobody will be offended by a shaved crack.
His ass was shaved, by the way. It was glistening. Yes. It was very nice. It was good.
That's what I'm saying is we get to see... Nice. In the next match, Earthquake versus the Big Boss Man. And I'm just going to say, Earthquake's attire has never been flattering.
No, thank God.
If he just had the singlet that covers your thighs. He didn't have like the Humpty Dumpty Eggman look.
Yep,
he would look a lot fucking better as a menacing heel because he's a huge dude. And again, before I get into it this time, because last time we tried to record this, yes, folks, we've tried to record this twice before.
Take 3. This is take 3. Yeah.
Earthquake is 28 years old on this event. He is currently younger than both Tony and I. Indeed. As we are recording this today. And I'd like to think that both of us have a more youthful appearance than Earthquake did at 28 years old.
To be fair, he's looked like he was 40 since he debuted when he was like,
and he died at 42.
Yeah,
which is insane. Because I thought he was 40 when I was young.
Yeah, no, if he was alive today, he would actually look like probably Gandalf, and he'd be like 60. Oh, yeah. He'd look like a 400-year-old wizard.
Yeah, he unfortunately passed away, and I want to say like 2003 or 4 or something.
Yeah, it was a while ago. Yeah.
It was the early aughts of bladder cancer, very rare cancer, but he fought it and had a tough battle. And
luckily though, because of this show, we now know one of the greatest interview lines ever spoken by someone, right? Verbatim. There's an interview. Mean Gene asks Earthquake something. I don't remember what it was. The answer is all that matters. The answer is Mean Gene. Do you know how long of a boat ride it is from US to here? Really far. That's why we took a plane. Anyways, I'm going to win the Battle Royal. And it's weird.
You gotta remember, he's sitting here doing this. He's like, Mean Gene, you know how far of a boat ride it is?
Yeah, it's classic.
Really far. That's why we took a plane.
It's classic Federation interview, stuff where, the wrestler is basically just screaming. We get, when Hawk and Animal come in later, boy, do we get a lot of yelling and grunting.
Oh, but you know what? Okay, well, before we get into that, let's just I've got plenty to say on Hawk and Animal, but I don't want to get into there yet.
Yeah, so that was the Earthquake line, and my point is just like if a wrestler can't talk, just there's a reason that you have Jimmy Hart there. You give him the mic, and then all Earthquake has to go is, that's it, done.
Yeah, and instead in this interview, Jimmy Hart was like, "I'm here with my Earthquake, baby. Here we go. Here to talk to him."
Oh God, yeah, it was not, and that happens a couple times.
He's like, "We took a plane."
Took a plane.
It was not the best. It was not the best backstage promo.
And then this isn't even backstage. This is up on the ramp.
Oh yeah, no, this one's up on the. So they interview Boss Man backstage, which by the way is Mean Gene, a superhero. He's doing the Tony Schiavone on AEW shit. He's just in 2 places at once. He's backstage, then he's all of a sudden he's in the arena. He's just like, I'm here and I'm back on the microphone and I'm here to talk to the other guy.
Yeah, it
And he
was
just
good.
keeps doing that shit. You're just like, fuck, Tony, how do you do this? So Tony Schiavone and Mean Gene have the same affinity for running all over the arena and somehow doing 2 interviews almost at once.
Yes. This seems accurate, yes.
So when this match starts off, the crowd pops huge for Boss Man's theme song.
Yeah, okay. So
which
I've done some research because we only remembered 2 lyrics. You remembered what was the lyric? The Cobb County, Georgia part.
Yeah, Cobb County, Georgia.
I just remembered he's got a big stick because that's funny. So I've pulled up the lyrics just to take you into the behind the curtains a little bit. If you ever take a trip down to Cobb County, Georgia, you better read the signs, respect the law and order. You'll serve hard times. Immediately, if you're doing what they tell you, they're saying, even if you do that, you're still going to fucking jail. So the lyrics don't even make sense immediately. And then the next line is, you'll be serving hard times. So it's different. They added an extra word in there. And then it basically just repeats that. The big boss man will make you walk the line. You better watch out, boy, or you'll be serving hard time. They really like to rhyme line with time. It's a very big theme here. And
it's a stretch for a rhyme anyway.
And he carries a big stick, a ball and chain too.
Oh,
and then
does that mean he has a wife at home?
He might. I don't know, but that is, and then the lyrics just repeat. Trailer? They repeat over and over, and then toward the end, you just get hard times, hard times, hard times. So yeah, that's fun. Also, another fun factoid for you guys: did you know they actually got the dude that sang in Survivor to sing this? I didn't know that until literally 10 minutes ago. I had no idea.
Glenn. Yeah, Glenn.
No clue. No idea. That's pretty cool, though. I mean, is it cool? I don't know. It's a fact.
I think a better fit for his theme song would have been Dusty Rhodes. If we're thinking about hard times.
Right?
Hard times.
That was his thing. And we'll just hear him lisping
hard
over.
Hard times, daddy. He carries a big stick and a ball and chain too. Let me tell you something, daddy.
I would pay money for that. Absolutely.
That would be a way better rendition of the theme song.
I agree. I mean, this one is good, but it does explain why when I hear it, I always kind of go, I'm like, that sounds like that one Eye the Tiger guy. Oh, because it is. We now know that. So you can't say that you didn't learn anything on this podcast.
Oh yeah, no, that's an exciting new fact. I had no idea.
Yeah, but the crowd.
Here's another match though that I was
Boss Man, big
I was
pop.
excited to see this one.
I wasn't at first because I don't remember the Boss Man being good. Really?
Yeah,
he's okay.
He had a good run with Hogan, and so did Quake. And I know you're not a Hogan fan, so that already kind of disqualifies a lot of the heel factory at the time.
Yeah, but and then Earthquake as well. I'm like, okay, so we're gonna have a Hoss fight, as Mr. Zane
but it was
would say, we got a Hoss fight. Yeah, it wasn't so there are different levels of Hoss fight, right? Like you have good Hoss fights, like they're just beating each other aggressively, and then you have this one where it's slow and awkward, and they do a lot of those like big guy spots, but since they're both big, it's really slow because usually it's a big guy spot and there's a quick dude dodging, and this one it's like a big 300-pound fat man slightly rolling to the side. it's not a great match, which is again a theme we're seeing here so far.
Right. Well, one of the weird things, so Gorilla, every time he says the word behemoth, he pronounces it bohemoth.
Yes, yeah. I'm pretty sure it's B-E.
That kind of bothers me.
I'm pretty sure it's B-E. I don't know the actual.
Yeah, it's behemoth.
Yeah, I was just saying.
But he's these two behemoths going at it. And I mean, Boss Man here doesn't actually look that big next to Earthquake, I guess, because he's been bigger. I'm pretty sure he was a little bit fatter when he was teaming with Akeem as part of the Twin Tower.
He looks like he's he's not huge. He is blown up by the time he gets to the ring. And again, I think it's got to be something with the arena. It's got to be hot as balls or something. Because
this is the match where you really start to notice it though, because his uniform's stuck to him. It's
by the time he gets to the ring, because he's wearing a light blue shirt, there's dark black patches of disgusting, nasty sweat. I was like, that is not. I like the Boss Man I know best, where he's wearing black and you don't see all of the sweat
Right.
because he's a fat man.
The corporation
Like
boss
the
man,
Ministry
badass boss man.
Corporation. Yeah, that one. Yeah. So, but yeah, there's not a lot to say. I mean, I will say Boss Man's punches looked really fucking good. I didn't know I don't recall, maybe it's because as a kid, I didn't pay that much attention to shit other than like Undertaker and the big guys. But
Well, it's because when we were a kid, even though you like that boss man, he was doing shit like stealing Big Show's dad's coffin and feeding Al Snow his dog. So he didn't actually
fair.
get that many cool matches for us.
Really, if you think back to Boss Man, I think the only match most casual fans would even possibly remember isn't even the match. It's just Boss Man hanging from a blatantly rigged noose and trying not to breathe so his face turns red. I will say that spot's hilarious because you can see he's not hanging by his neck; he's hanging by it wasn't a great visual, but it was
the
funny.
Kennel of Fear or whatever match with all the dogs shitting outside.
Oh, yeah, that one too. Yeah,
it was the cage inside of the cell.
Yeah, and
so there was like dogs outside of the cage, but inside of the cell.
The vicious dogs,
and they were just sitting there pissing on each other.
I think I heard one of them was humping the other one. I don't know. I feel like that.
I think so. They were like filming it.
Is there anything better that can happen to an Al Snow match? I feel like that's pretty much his career summed up.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think we could do an Al Snow episode, but I'd have to go back and quote a lot of the funny shit that Mick Foley says about him.
Basically, we'll just quote. Yeah, we'll just take Mick Foley's book quotes, and there's our episode.
We'll just rib on Al Snow for an episode.
Yeah, why not? Anyway, back to the match. I guess back to the match. It's slow.
There's a weird. Yeah, it's very slow, but there's it's like a really weird spot that looks like they try to correct it instead of just moving on.
Yeah, the double axe handle spot.
Yeah.
So Boss Man, how so to tell everyone what's going on, Earthquake's wobbly and wavy. He just got, I don't know, I think Boss Man punched him or who, I don't know. Boss Man went to backwards hop up the ropes to do a double axe handle off the second rope. But you can watch him as he gets on the first rope, he goes to get on the second, just misses. And instead of just taking a half second to go, oh shit, hold on, let me put my foot back on, he kind of wow, what do I do? And bounce leaped kind of off of the bottom rope.
Yeah.
At Earthquake, but he didn't get any distance or height. And so it was kind of like a bounce into a half run. It wasn't even a double axe handle at that point. It was like a double close fist to the face. Yeah. And then they did the thing that I hate in wrestling where you fuck up a spot and then you immediately do the spot again so it looks right. I hate when that happens. It bugs me so much.
Well, I mean, I feel like Boss Man thought they were filming for TV, tapings or something, and that this wasn't a live broadcast, because that looked like something you would do in a match that was going to go to syndication,
right? And
not something that would be on British television.
Yeah, back at this time, was all of their stuff recorded and then played? Nothing was live, right?
I'm pretty sure, other than the pay-per-views, and I think these guys thought of this maybe or on accident as television because it wasn't.
Honestly, I feel like throughout the show, they just forgot to even tell them they're recording it because there's no effort put in by almost anyone.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird house show, and it was an afterthought.
There was,
like I said, it's kind of like the Saudi Arabia shit you see today, so it's still weird.
So there's 2 or 3 cool parts of this match. There's a fun part where Earthquake is in a headlock. He goes to whip Boss Man off, and Boss Man basically just yoinks on his beard to pull himself back. That was kind of neat. That was okay.
And then somebody, I think Bobby's that's or Gorilla says something about having facial hair. That's the price you pay for.
Yeah, it's no, I'm pretty sure that's actually cheating because you're not allowed to grab a hair. Yeah. I don't know why a beard would not qualify as hair. So,
right.
Yeah, realistically, we got some mixed messages here from the face Gorilla, who I'm pretty sure back in his day probably grabbed people's hair because he was a heel. So,
yeah,
whatever. I'm not here to judge. I'm just we're just here to commentate over this. So the coolest spot possibly of the night so far, though, at least most impressive. So Boss Man, which I don't know if this ever happened before, he went to the top rope, which was weird in and of itself. I figure they're going to do the flare bump, where he's going to get him and throw him off or something. No, he actually went for a flying cross body. Didn't get, I wouldn't say he got any height. He basically immediately started falling like a stone. And Earthquake caught him. And it wasn't like a clean catch. Like Earthquake kind of like caught him and was like, oh, fuck. This dude's fatter than I thought he would be. Shit. I can't drop him. And then he heaved him up and gave him like a kind of a power slam. It tried to do a power slam. It was impressive. It was ugly, but it was impressive, at least for Earthquake to be able to catch him, because that is a big dude. It's not like you're catching Rey Mysterio. Like I could probably do it. It's not that.
Yeah.
So that was
I can imagine
cool.
Vince in the back being like, never do that shit again.
Well, again, I think we've agreed on this, that there's no chance in hell Vince is at this show.
Yeah.
Because otherwise there'd be this would not be going down.
Yeah, you're right.
But
the one thing, before I forget, that I think is kind of weird, even though I don't think we've seen Typhoon yet, Earthquake doesn't have gear to match Typhoon, and he doesn't have gear to match Jimmy Hart, but Jimmy Hart has a Natural Disasters vest. So, like, they're all three there, but none of them have matching gear.
Yeah, and I thought they did, like, I recall them having the same gear, right?
Like, they did at least at a later point where it says Earthquake's on Earthquake, but I think he's wearing his weird old. This is like the same singlet he's wearing in his Hasbro action figure, and I think it's almost the same one. I don't know if it's the same one from WrestleMania 6 or not. I think he was wearing a light blue one.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, maybe this is like early on into that. Again, I'm not an expert on the timelines back in this. This was when was this? 91, 93, 1?
91.
91. So I was
October 3rd,
I was 1 year old, so I don't remember it very well. And again, this is the first time I watched it.
3 months old.
Yeah, so
I was as old as my baby is right now.
Yeah, so
it's crazy.
Yeah. So I put a note here saying I thought for some reason I thought Earthquake was pretty good in the ring. Like I recall people like talking about him, like, "Hey, he was a good big man," but if you're just looking at this match, no.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah.
I would go with no. And they also did the stupid fat man spot I hate, where he's gonna sit on him. Oh, he sat down and now he's just sitting there like a big dumb baby.
He does that a lot, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The one thing that the crowd's really into this because they start like a boss man chant. Like a soccer football.
Yeah, no, they're super into Boss Man, and I will give them credit. Like, I feel like Boss Man tried pretty hard. Like Earthquake didn't really. I don't know if he didn't try or if he's just shit. But I felt like Boss Man was trying. I'd say he's probably like the third most over face on the show, probably behind Bulldog and Piper. I'd probably give him that. I mean, to be fair, after those three, there's really not. I don't know. Tito just I don't know, the Jalapeno Man. But yeah, Boss Man hit it into Guri. That was cool, I guess. Again, things I don't think you'd ever see the Boss Man do. That it wasn't pretty. It looked pretty stiff. It looked like he literally just kicked him in the back of the head. But it's a thing. He did it. So
yeah, there was a spot where Earthquake threw him into the steps, and when he's on the floor, Jimmy Hart kneels on the steps and starts yelling into his face with the megaphone. But a lot of the stuff just looks like they're trying to drag it out for spots for the audience. And if you look in the audience, so many people, like, it's moving so slow. So I started looking the audience again. So many people have those Hogan foam fingers.
Yeah. As though you're going to get Hogan. Just stop.
Well, yeah, no, but I mean, I know you don't listen to Something to Wrestle with Pritchard, but Bruce justified the switching of the belt from Yoko to Hogan, all shady at WrestleMania 9, because Hogan was a bigger draw in Europe than Bret Hart.
Was that the one where Hogan had the black eye from...
It was the one in 93 when Hogan showed up looking a little skinnier and Bret Hart was in the main event against Yokozuna.
Oh, right. And Bret lost. And then
Hogan comes out and he's like, I'm going to win and then he won the belt, like all fucking shady. God. So anyway, Bruce said it was because Hogan was a bigger draw in Europe than Bret Hart. And they were about to go on a European tour.
It's fun, though, because you look at that and you're like, even if that's true, like, if 20 years down the line, they did the same thing to Punk's title run with Alberto.
Yep.
Like, given the ruin this year-plus long title reign, so we can take the belt off and put it on a heel to go tour Mexico. It's not like they're gonna cheer him. He was a heel.
Yep.
Like, even when they tried to make Alberto a face, he was not. He is the most unlikable person. We only liked him because we liked Ricardo. He was funny.
Yeah, I mean, I just think it's weird that, if Hogan is such a big draw in Europe, like, and he wasn't there on the European Rampage tour in 1991,
Yeah,
or maybe he just wasn't on this show. I'm
Wow.
not sure. I haven't watched the entire tour, and I'm not probably going to.
God, please don't make us do
'cause,
that. God, no. But back to the match. The Mounties here now, because I'm assuming him and Bossman are still feuding because they wear the same pants. And my theory
they're both
is
policemen, but one's a good guy and one's a bad guy.
Yeah, my theory, no,
because one's Canadian.
I think that's wrong. I think they're fighting over pants, and there's only like a limited supply of those pants left, and so
with the yellow line.
Yeah, if you don't get it, what are you going to wear? Pants with a blue line? You'll look like an idiot.
Well, I mean, Bossman clearly lost because he ended up switching pants.
Well, yeah, but the Mountie didn't even have a job, so like who?
Well, you're not wrong.
So yeah, but the Mountie comes out because apparently the Mountie is also part. He's also managed by Jimmy Hart? Because again, Jimmy Hart manages every heel that is in wrestling at this time.
He's at least managing every heel on this show. Yeah. I'm pretty sure.
Pretty
if
close.
I go back, he is managing every heel on the show except for Flair.
Flair, right? And he probably would but Flair just talks better. So then, okay, fine.
Yeah, Flair doesn't need "Hey, baby" in his corner.
Yeah,
he doesn't need that.
So Mountie makes a run in, and then he grabs Bossman, the classic outside the rope trip him. He falls on his face, bouncing off the ropes. And then I don't know. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't remember, but I recall Quake's finish being the giant ass slam. Right? He just jumps up and kind of sits on him. I'm
pretty sure, but the Mountie helps him somehow. Yeah. I know that it was a cheap victory.
No, yeah. So the Mountie tripped Bossman, and I figured we'd get Earthquake's finish, which I thought was like the running like sit attack, but he just does like
on his chest.
He just does an elbow drop to the back of Bossman, rolls him over, and gets a clean. I mean, it's a 1, 2, 3. It's not like So we're like 3 matches in, and we haven't actually had a finisher performed yet.
Well, we did. If the Sweet Chin Music is a finisher, it just got performed right away.
I think we agreed that would be at this point a signature move, which is completely different.
Yeah, that's
obviously.
true.
And then we have the argument of what is the figure 4? Is it his finisher or is it a sig? I think it's just his signature because it really doesn't finish a lot of stuff, but.
That's true.
At this time, Flair didn't. Yeah. When did Flair win by? When did he win clean though? Like almost never. To be fair,
almost never. But yeah, this was 3 for 3 for heels on this show. Like there hasn't been a face victory yet.
No, I feel like Vince is gone, and so Jimmy Hart's just like, "Hey, baby, we're gonna win everything.
What? Put us over in every match, baby."
So yeah, that was it. It was again another crowd. You can see and hear them go, "What the fuck."
So this is a fun part that I did in my research here. Oh, okay. This is the part of the show where we finally get to see the Royal Samovar Trophy. And in my research for this episode, I kept finding dead ends. Like I tried to read reviews for this event from like publications like Wrestling Observer, Pro Wrestling Torch, and there's really not a lot of coverage for it, right? But I did a search for the Royal Samovar Trophy, and I found a post on the Squared Circle subreddit.
Oh dear, you've done some deep diving.
This is funny. So a user named Buzzaholic has decided to track where the Royal Samovar Trophy would have gone if it had been transferred in individual singles matches from Bulldog, who does win it in this event. Okay. I'm going to read this to you now because this is very fun.
Yes, please.
To do this, he's not going to include any house shows or matches that include on WWF television events. They can only happen on WWF television events or pay-per-view.
Okay.
If a wrestler left the company with the trophy, they will have it. Matches can also be singles or multi-man matches, but cannot be tag matches.
Okay. So this thing can go to fucking Japan. We don't know it to go anywhere.
So unfortunately, it doesn't go that long, but it is very fun. Okay. So the British Bulldog wins the trophy after eliminating Typhoon on this night.
Spoiler.
Okay. Yes, unfortunately. Sorry, guys.
Oops.
The Bulldog would end up losing his trophy to Ric Flair at the Royal Rumble. When Ric Flair wins the title.
Right. Okay. Yeah, that's fair. So Flair wins the title, and more importantly, the sterling silver trophy thing.
Yeah, the Samovar, the Royal Samovar.
Yeah, that.
The sterling silver teapot.
Yes.
So Hulk Hogan then beat Ric Flair at a Superstars taping on February 17th, 1992 in a count-out finish, but there's no championship advantages with the trophy. So the count-out finish changes hands here.
Naturally.
So Yokozuna would take the trophy off the Hulkster and the world title at King of the Ring 1993. Okay. The crowd went mild. Lex Luger then won the trophy, probably with the help of that metal plate in his arm at SummerSlam 1993.
That was a whole thing.
Yokozuna would win the trophy back at WrestleMania 10 to become our first two-time winner, but this would be short-lived as Bret would beat Yokozuna at the same event. At King of the Ring 1994, Diesel would take the trophy, thus proving the real prize at the King of the Ring is the Royal Samovar Trophy. Razor Ramon then won the trophy at SummerSlam 1994, exactly 1 week after this poster's 11th birthday.
Wow. Happy birthday.
JEFFJARRETT would win the trophy at the 1995 Royal Rumble. Big Daddy Cool would begin a second reign on an episode of Raw, February 20th, only the second time the title had changed hands on free television.
Wow.
Diesel would not defend the title at the King of the Ring as he was in a tag match, understandable given the history. But he did lose the title to Waylon Mercy on Superstar, September 25th, 1995. This would be Spivey's last televised match, and he would retire as the holder of the Royal Samovar Trophy.
That was not the ending I would have guessed to that lineage, but
yeah, no, me neither. But I and I'm not so sure that I agree with everything there. There's probably some stuff up for dispute, but you know what? We'll leave that for a later date.
Yeah, because
I enjoyed the read. Though.
Yeah,
Thanks.
no, I like it.
Buzzaholic.
Yeah, Buzzaholic. Shout out. Thank you for that. That was amazing.
Yeah. So Gene really puts this trophy over.
Yeah.
And then explains the rules of a battle royal in case anybody doesn't know.
Hold on, I forgot to rate the match. 4 out of 10.
Oh. 4 out of 10.
Yeah. So I actually, when that match went over, I gave it 4 out of 10, and I actually changed the opener and lowered it a star at this point because this match had less rest holds than a tag match with the Rockers in it. So just as of note, that I gave it a 4 out of 10. I thought the Boss Man looked good. Good effort from him. Earthquake is fat and big. That is that was the story of the match. But yeah, he then explains us the rules of the Battle Royal as Shawn said.
And then Kerry Von Erich comes out.
Yes.
As soon as he's done explaining a Battle Royal.
Yeah, so
they don't go into the Battle Royal now. They go into another single.
So Kerry
match.
Von Erich, he's part of the legendary Von Erich family, obviously. But to be fair, I'm not super knowledgeable about 94 and prior. So, I'm not super big fans of him. I remember him most vividly from an old comic book I had that had
really?
It had 3 little sub stories. The Warrior was in it. The Undertaker was in it. Obviously he was a heel. He was trying to bury people, but he was in a scene of it, and it's just the Texas Tornado. And that's where I stole the name Tornado for our Foursquare promotion. In grade school, because we've been promoters since grade school, guys.
Of course.
But yeah, just random fun note. I know nothing about him. He looks good. He basically looks like the Warrior without face paint, really, because he's got the dangly tassel boots.
Turns out, I guess he probably had an amputated foot at this time. So he was working with 1 foot, and then his other boot was stuffed or something.
No,
There's
that can't be. Is that real?
Apparently, that's a thing. They talk about it in the Dark Side of the Ring episode and some other stuff. He had a motorcycle accident, I believe, or a car accident, and he apparently by this time was working with possibly a mangled foot and a regular foot. And if you take that into consideration, it's crazy how well he can work.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So that is, I did not know that, but that is.
I just found that out recently because of the Dark Side of the Ring thing. I think that was kind of held secret for a long time. And
yeah, that's crazy. Jesus. I mean, he looks good. He moves. He has no problem moving around. He moves better than a lot of wrestlers with 2 feet. So good on him. And like I said, I don't know a lot about him. I haven't seen a ton of his stuff. If I recall, wasn't his finish the head grab attack? Was that?
I'm not sure.
For some reason, I remember that, but I could be inventing it.
unfortunately, for my experience with a lot of this earlier WWF stuff, is only watching the pay-per-views, and a lot of times these guys don't go over on the pay-per-views; they go over on like a Superstars,
Right.
And I don't watch a lot of those old events. I've gone back and watched some of them.
Oh,
but
okay.
A lot of times,
I just looked it up. Apparently, it looks like his finisher was the Tornado Punch, which is basically just a discus punch.
okay.
At least according to this random YouTube video I just watched. And as we would do naturally, we will assume that is correct and move on with our life.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so basically a discus. But yeah, anyway, his interview is it's classic old Federation interview where he's basically yelling incoherently for a minute or so.
Yep. And I'm already tired of like the interview segments. It's not anybody here's fault. I love Mean Gene. And like this is probably the first Kerry Von Erich interview I've seen, but it's like they're definitely stretching this show out for every bit they can.
Yeah, and again, so this takes us into the match. I do like
have Jimmy Hart again.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Jimmy Hart came out. There's another interview, this time with the Mountie. Now, I will say I liked the Mountie's interview because specifically he calls Kerry Von Erich the wrong name several times, which I find funny. I don't know why I always love it when wrestlers can't remember the other guy's name. But so Kevin Von Erich versus Mountie's up next.
Oh God, that's his brother who's no longer. Is he the one who's dead?
There's a lot of dead Von Erichs.
There's one that remains, and it might be.
Oh my! Yeah, I don't know.
I sound like I'm a terrible fan right now by not knowing this off the top of my head, but I'm not. I'm honestly just don't know that much about Texas.
No, but yeah, me either.
The territories.
Very sad family. Obviously, we're making fun in jest. We're not picking on them. But if we have to be nice to dead people in the show, we don't have a fucking show. Because everybody, I'd say a good 70% of the people on the show are fucking dead now. It was a lot.
Everybody here except the Mountie and Jimmy Hart are dead, aren't they? Everybody here, because Bossman and Quake and Mean Gene.
It's a lot. The whole commentary team. The Rockers obviously aren't. Isn't one of the Sags or other guy? One's dead.
No, Knobs is in the hospital right now.
No, I meant Sags. Is Sags alive?
I'm pretty sure. Okay. I might not be right about that.
Yeah, I don't know. He might be. There's a lot of what we're saying is there's a lot of dead people, so we have to make fun of them. But obviously we respect.
Yeah, Sags is alive.
Okay.
Literally most of this card is unfortunately no longer with us.
And some of them, obviously more missed. Piper, that's I miss the rowdy one, but. So a fun note here. So
if you think about it, hold on. Bossman, Earthquake, Mean Gene, Gorilla, Bobby, Jesus.
The first match is all alive, so we don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, the second match too.
Flair and Santana are still around. Yeah.
Well, obviously Bulldog. That's
Eric Von Erich, obviously.
Yep.
Bear Hacksaw's still hanging in there. Good on him. I just heard he just beat cancer.
Free.
Yeah, so that's good to hear. Yep. Hercules and Legion of Doom, Hawk, Animal's gone too now, isn't he?
Yep.
So they're both gone. Hey, we got autographs from him though, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, one of them. I only got Hawk. Animal. I think Animal was in a car leaving immediately. But,
yeah. But Hawks stayed and hung around.
Yeah, Davey Boy, obviously. The Barbarian, I don't know or really care. Paul Bearer's gone. Yeah, the Battle Royal. And at least half the show, the talent is gone. So.
Yep.
I got to scroll back. But so one funny note here, now that we've talked about death and sadness, let's be funny again. The Mountie was just in a segment where at the end of it, basically he got chased off. And then he was all sweaty, ran away. And he came back out now, sweaty, but now they made him put his ring gear on.
Yes.
Even though he was just out without it.
And now he has the hat. Yeah, now he has the
hat
jacket.
and the jacket. And you're like, so why would you put... okay.
Maybe he didn't want the referee, Danny Davis, to recognize him when he was interfering in the Boss Man's match.
That's possible, because this referee is, as we've documented, clearly meant to be an idiot.
Yeah, or heel, but I'm pretty sure it's an idiot.
Well, he's a face
Danny
sometimes too. Again, like I said, he changes throughout the show more times than Big Show went face heel. So yeah. So next match we have is Mountie versus Kerry Von Erich. I don't know why I put this, but the first note I put in here is I love Sir Robert of Heenan so much. He must have said something funny, but again, keep that in mind throughout this whole show. He's amazing, and we love him.
Yeah, I'm already sick of hearing Jimmy Hart by the time this match comes on because it's just from the last match and the very first match. So you've only had one match without Jimmy Hart screaming so far during the entire match. And then almost every interview has had Jimmy Hart at least just sitting in the background like
twitching. He is coked out of his little mind this night.
chewing gum, just like shaking all the time.
Yep.
I don't quite understand it. But like there's a really weird section in this match where the Mountie is outside and Von Erich's hunching over to look at him, and it almost looks like the referee Danny Davis comes up to like put Von Erich in a headlock. It looks really strange for a second, and I don't really remember exactly at what point that was in the match, but I took note of it.
Yeah, I don't know. I know at the beginning of this match there was at least 5 minutes of nothing, which I actually didn't hate as much as I usually would say, because at least it was because the Mountie was doing heel things by like, no, fuck you, no.
And the crowd starts chanting jailbird at him. So that's
so I'd say Mountie's probably the second heel behind Flair, maybe, possibly this show.
Yeah,
that's something up there. They really hate him, which is great. But
yeah, because they don't care about Typhoon, who is basically billed as like the big deal in the Battle Royal for some reason.
Yeah. And so
I know they need a big man in every Battle Royal, but like if you Typhoon was just Tugboat, I think, earlier this year.
Yeah, so
like
he just turned.
I don't know how seriously I could. He just went from Toot Toot to a natural disaster.
Oh god, someone thought that was a good gimmick. Oh boy. Yeah. So this match, I've got looking at my live notes here. There's a lot of me I'm clearly over this event by this point, because we got just some things here. Some punches from Eric into a rest hold, all caps. I said I said after their 5 minutes of nothing, I said, can we have anything please besides powdering? And then some punches and then a rest hold immediately. So like in this 6 minutes of match, we've had a couple punches into a headlock, and then Von Erich breaks free into another sleeper. Fuck yeah. Wrestling. Yeah. And then Eric breaks free. Holy shit. That's a holy shit chant. He got out of it. And then I said, oh God, you've got to be kidding me. No. Eric has another sleeper locked in. Why is this my life? So clearly I'm going through some dark times at this point in the show. I was struggling so hard to pay any attention to this.
Yeah, it was getting difficult. There's a weird spot, like the same spot when the Mountie's outside the ring. He's out there for a while, and the ref isn't really counting. But then as he goes to get back in the ring, it seems like the ref's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like really fast.
Yeah, like in like the game, like No Mercy, when you're the special guest referee, and if you just spam the button, you go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's what was happening. I was like, did you just? Are you like making like it's like he lagged and like he went, oh shit, 1, 2, 3, fuck. It was
it looked really weird.
Yeah,
and I'm like, I think Danny Davis is working every match, so I don't know if he's tired, but like. I heard that the company used to pay for the travel and lodging, like for everything when the guys do overseas tours. So maybe they're doing some cost-cutting measures, like having one referee for the entire event.
This might be, but good fun quote from Heenan. Drive those big, beautiful Canadian boots into them. I like how he specified they're Canadian boots. It's very, very accurate. And then I put action spills to the outside, and I put action in, air quotes, because... is it really action? It's more like the rest holds continue outside. Eric.
Well, the action is when the audience throws trash at the Mountie.
Yes, that happened.
And then Gorilla's like, "You want to get some of that fish and chips?" And Bobby's like, "Go down there and get it. I'm Sir Robert of Heenan, not an errand boy."
We do have something interesting, some actual action. Eric takes a bump into the stairs, and a lot of wrestlers just do the shoulder check. I'm not a big fan of it. Mick Foley, I still
Yeah.
say, took the best ones where he just took it to the knee and flipped
Tumbled
them.
over it.
So
Yeah.
Eric basically just aggressively headbutts them. like it looks, it's not like, you know, you can tell when a wrestler has some hand protect. No, I think he just full blown concussed himself into the stairs.
Yeah.
So that was, he didn't put his hands up. It was pretty gnarly looking. And then he went to hit so this must be the tornado punch. I wrote, Eric tried to hit a spinning punchy thing. That's the official's finisher for him, is the spinning punchy thing.
Of course.
So he had the Canadian boss man, we'll call him. He had him against the ring post outside. Again, the most popular ring post of the night. And he did a spinning punch, and surprise, surprise, the Mountie moved slightly, and so Von Erich just decked the steel post. And at that point, they're now like, "Oh, his hand's got to be broken. It's broken." Blah 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 blah, and everything.
Oh yeah, Gorilla. I love the way he does it, but he's like, he may have broken his wrist. Look at it; it's begun to swell already.
Yeah,
and
like 2 seconds in, you're like, okay,
nothing.
first off, we know where you're sitting. They are like at least 150
really
feet away.
far.
They're not. It's not like now where they're ringside or like modern where they're up on the
their
stage.
monitors are like 4 inches. They're like the little tiny.
Yeah,
TV
no, they are
things.
way the fuck back. So, gonna call bullshit on that Gorilla. You do not see it swelling, not happening. And then we have another finish out of fucking nowhere. So they go in, his hand's broken, and like they don't. Usually, you do a spot like that, and you kind of go off of it, right? Like that leads into the finish.
Right.
No, he just rolls him up and puts his feet on the ropes.
Yep.
So
that's
like,
it. Just a really cheap one for the money.
So if you've got, what we learned here is if you have a wrist that is swelling up, it makes it impossible to kick out of a roll up.
Yeah.
So yeah, and I said again,
But the worst part here is that they don't show it really well.
No.
And unlike in the Flair Santana match, when they proceed to show us a replay of Santana's ass, they don't give us a replay of the Mountie's feet on the ropes here, which I took note of.
And I'm going to go ahead and I'm just going to read this. It's a short paragraph, word for word, of my live thoughts after this. So I said, so here we go. So 3 count. I put, okay, question mark. Wait, the ref is asking if he cheated. Mountie's saying no. I think he's going to restart the match. I am confused. The bell didn't ring again. What the fuck is happening? I'm so confused. Wait, okay, no. Mountie did win, or Eric did. Ref didn't restart the match, but no one was announced the winner. And then the Mountie ran away, and now Eric's music is playing. But I think he lost. I am confused. That was a summary of the aftermath of this match. The Mountie he literally booked it. He just fucking after he's like, "Are you cheating?" The Mountie's like, No, and just fucking ran away.
The Mountie runs away. It's the finish in EWR. That's what it means. Now we have an actual image to what happens when you select that.
So Mountie wins. Maybe I gave that a 1 out of 10 with the commentary. Nope, and that's all you need to know. 1 out of 10. Nope. Everything about that was terrible. There was no good. I can't even think of a good spot. Other than the Mountie being a fairly good heel, it wasn't
4 for 4 on cheap heel wins.
Yeah, if anything, that was more.
It doesn't even look good.
Yeah, if anything, that was more of an angle in the ring than a match.
Yep.
And then we get into now the show picks up because we hear we hear the voice.
Yeah.
He's
Where's the queen?
I didn't know Bear would be here, but boy is he!
Oh, Jim Duggan.
And
it is so fantastic.
I love Paul Bearer. He's so ridiculous, but it's so good. Why does a weird, creepy, whining, screaming, wailing man with a giant dead person work so well? It's fantastic.
Right. I love seeing these live ones too. When he's live with the microphone. He's not like pre-taped.
Yeah.
But that might be why Undertaker's promo is so weird. So we talk about that weird promo where Undertaker was eating rattlesnakes in the desert with Big Show after riding motorcycles.
The one that got Jericho heat because he called him boring. Yeah.
Yes.
Now it was very boring, so can't argue with it. But yes.
But we call that like the weird Undertaker
oh boy
promo. But this one's pretty weird. He's Jim Duggan. As the sands of the hourglass run out, so will the breath in your lungs. And long before the battle royal comes, rigor mortis will have set in. All that is left is a WWF mass burial. He doesn't even say rest in peace.
Okay, so many things to say here.
Weird.
So one, he's essentially saying, Jim Duggan, I'm going to make you hard. That's what he said. That's what rigor mortis is. So he's saying he's going to make Jim Duggan hard. So we got that.
He says, Jim Duggan, as the time goes on, you're going to run out of breath, and before the battle royal comes, you're already going to be hard. All that's left is a burial.
Yeah. So again, the next question, the mass burial. If it's just one man, would that be a mass? I don't know about that one. I think that'd just be a normal burial, Taker. But who am I to argue? I'm not an official dead person, so maybe I'm not qualified. I don't know.
Yeah, the lights don't go down though for Taker's entrance, and they have some guy actually playing the song on an organ.
I thought that was kind of cool.
It was cool, but they don't have soundboard of the organ, so
Yes.
you can't hear it. It just sounds muffled as shit.
Yeah.
And this guy's got a weird Phantom of the Opera face paint. He doesn't even have like a mask on, so that also kind of doesn't look very good.
No,
but
it was,
I don't know I don't know what Jim Johnston looks like in '91. That might be him.
Very well, yeah, I could be.
But the guy is reading sheet music, so it might not be him. And Gorilla even asks like, "Who is that playing the organ?" And Heenan's like, "The organ player, stupid." I love that.
Yeah, so our next matchup, we got Undertaker versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan. Now, I will say, I made a note because I thought this was weird, and you know more about Taker history than me. I didn't know that Taker didn't always do the eye thing when he took his hat off. Like, I thought that was just always a thing he did. I didn't know he didn't do that here.
So I actually didn't know he was doing the eye thing at all really yet here. So when he did it later in the match near the urn, I was surprised to see it.
I just thought he always, when he took the hat off, did the, roll back of the eyes.
It took a bit before he went there.
Okay.
It was pretty, I think it was still before the Underfaker storyline in 93 or 94.
Yeah. And then,
was that 93?
I think, I had another fun question as the Undertaker guru. He was wearing his gray outfit here, right?
Yeah,
so that
he
was
doesn't become
his
Purple Undertaker until after the Underfaker.
Right, I was going to say. So his first was, well, I guess the first is, this is basically the first iteration of Taker. It's gray.
This is
it's
just
gray
right after he switches from Brother Love to Paul Bearer, which is like pretty.
Well, I guess so. This is second, because first Undertaker was the big tie Undertaker, right?
Yeah, but I think
that was very
he still technically wears it sometimes.
Okay. I don't know why I'm so interested in Taker's. I was like, I remember purple and gray. There's a big difference, and it's different eras.
Yeah, his makeup here looks really cool.
Yeah.
He's got like angry eyes.
Yeah, they like give him angry eyes, and I'm assuming they're trying to make him look like he's dead. I'm guessing. I was down with it. Also, fun to note, I think he only has one visible tattoo at this point. So. It's always weird to see Taker without the sleeves, because he's had sleeves since.
Yeah, they like mention it. They're like, "Is it what is that? It's the Grim Reaper."
Yeah, no, I probably isn't, but yeah. Also fun is I don't remember where it was, but I recall seeing a picture somewhere of like Paul Bearer with the Undertaker getting that first tattoo. I was like, that's cool. A little bit of random history. It's somewhere on the internet. It exists, so there you go. But yes, Paul Bearer, and then Hacksaw comes out, and I always forget Hacksaw exists because he's kind of just, there. But I love that his theme song actually just yells "ho" several times. And he is super over too. Like, okay, maybe he might be, him and Bossman are kind of right neck and neck for being
so really over. The British crowd is chanting USA, which I get very confused about.
Yeah, the British crowd is chanting USA, but both guys are from America. So like,
it doesn't make any sense.
But yeah, I like it. It was good. And I gave this one immediately right here, 5-star match off the bat, because they didn't start the match with a rest hold. They punched each other. So immediately off to a better start than every other match of the card.
Yeah. And Taker's already basically doing the same punch that we've already known him to have for like almost the rest of his career until he basically came back from American Badass.
Yeah, so yeah, he's still doing the open hand like throat thrust. Like if you guys remember Warzone, the only reason no one played with as him or Kane is because their punch took 10 years to work.
Yeah, somebody could hit you as Austin before you could get one strike in as Kane or Undertaker, because they had to like draw back their fist before they.
But yeah, it was like it was like a throat thrust. It was you know what we're talking about if you know Taker. So this is before, because later on he did the same kind of punch, but it was closed fist. So this is definitely early. Taker also doing a lot of spots that anyone that watches Taker ever will go, oh, so he's literally been doing that exact spot for 30 years.
Because he does. That's why they call it old school when he walks the rope.
Yeah, he does the
big here. That rope sags down to the middle rope when he's on that thing. I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah. No, the rope sag. He's standing on the second rope. It's so shitty, and it made the move look like shit because he just kind of dropped on him.
I think my favorite spot in this match is when Paul Bearer steals the 2x4 and starts to hide it behind himself from Jim Duggan.
Yeah. I said right here so far, Paul Bearer is the star of the match for all of his shenanigans.
Yep.
But yeah, so at this point, I don't know, halfway through the match, I also didn't. I don't watch a lot of old stuff, so maybe I don't remember it. But I didn't know that like at this point, 70% of Taker's offense was just choking people. A lot of choking. So you know what? I guess I'd call choking a rest move. That it is. Nothing's happening.
Kind of. It looks visibly cooler when he's like, I don't know. I love the prop work with the urn here, especially compared to just Paul Bearer is so much better than Jimmy Hart.
Yes.
After you've seen 4 Jimmy Hart matches or whatever.
Jimmy Hart in every segment.
Yeah. So like it's refreshing as hell to see Paul Bearer here, and every time Taker has to like go recharge on the urn, it's awesome. And when he's choking, and I think that's when he rolls back his eyes.
Yes,
is when he's choking.
Yeah. And Paul Bearer like holds the urn, and Undertaker smells it or what? I don't know. It feels the power.
Smells the urn.
Yeah, I assume it's because he smells it.
Like, the ashes of mass burial.
So we at this point we get a nice little series of spots here where we find out that the Undertaker's cock is invincible to damage at this point in his career. So he sells an inverted atomic drop. So just a knee to your dick, and Taker's like, no. And then, so his dick is not a weak point. Duggan goes to the top for 10 punches, but then he only does 5. And then he just like runs while the crowd's still like, what? 6? What? Hold on. Why? And that's because, it's because that it makes sense now. It's because Paul Bearer stole the 2x4. And so naturally you're going to stop trying to win the match and go chase the little fat man with your 2x4.
Yes, it's the best part of the match.
Yeah,
though. He's
so
like, oh no.
Taker does a leaping running clothesline, the same one he's done for his whole career. You all know what it looks like. I made a note here. It's weird that Taker started out really athletic and then like had that whole middle part of the career where he was kind of fat and we don't talk about, and then got even better when he was old. Very strange.
Yep.
But yeah, so the ending of this match, very strange. So Duggan, who is the face in this match, remember he is the baby face.
Yes, he
gets his 2x4 back from Paul Bearer, and then he just goes in the ring and just attacks the Taker with it, and gets disqualified just as the face.
And Taker no-sells it.
Yeah, Taker Taker. He no-sells it. Yeah, he attacks and throws him outside. Yeah, Taker goes out and does the, Taker doesn't go to the ground. He goes out onto his feet and just stares. And yeah, I said...
And then Paul Bear's just like, fuck it, let's get out of here, and holds the urn up.
Yeah,
and then Duggan's music plays.
Duggan's super excited. He's so excited. He's like, yeah! We're like, you lost, you idiot!
And they play his music. Yeah. So it's just as confusing as the last match.
So
it makes no sense.
Yeah, so this match, Undertaker wins by disqualification. Again, really, that's the ending. I gave this one a 3 out of 10. Most of the 3 was for Duggan yelling "ho" at random, and for Paul Bearer being there. Everything else didn't make sense and was boring.
It was my favorite match of the night, but I'm not rating them on a star system because I just can't even find where I would give them a legitimate star rating. I think that's why Dave Meltzer ignored my tweet. He was like, "You want me to rate these?" And I'm like, "Well, you rate every fucking Rampage, so you have to rate every Ty Conti and Bunny match." So I think maybe you could rate the fucking Prince Albert Memorial Battle
But
Royal.
I feel like if he rated this, he'd give it like a combined 1 star, maybe.
And I'm okay with him giving it negative stars. I just want context.
Oh,
Because he hasn't given a Kurt Angle a match 5 stars, but he gives almost every Bucks match 5 stars.
Fact,
so
there was just another 5-star match. In fact, it's official. I saw it today. Brian
the 60-minute match.
Brian and Paige got a 5-star. So, but Kurt Angle still hasn't. So fuck Kurt Angle. We then go into, based on my notes, is a lot of backstage interviews because I've got about a page of no matches happening. Yep. So he's with he's with Piper, right? Piper's the first guy, and I put here, and you might argue, but like everyone says, like they have like old wrestlers have similar promos, like Hogan's the best. It's like my thing is I feel like Savage and Flair and Piper and like Scott Steiner, their interviews are just better than anything Hogan ever did. Maybe it's because they don't yell brother every 3 words. Maybe it might be that. I don't know. But like Hogan's are also incomprehensible nonsense. There's no arguing it. It's like any of them make any sense.
Savages usually are, but I like Savages because they're great incomprehensible nonsense.
Yeah, and that's why I said like Piper kind of falls into that. Like Piper, he yells a lot, and there's no way anything he ever said was scripted because there's no way you could script this. You could tell he's just fucking. The
whole like half blackface thing from WrestleMania 6 against Bad News Brown is wiped from Peacock. It's gone.
Oh, is it really?
The interview and the match.
That's
so
dumb.
If we ever need to review that in full, I do have it on VHS if we want to.
I get that's one thing I get racially insensitive stuff being a big deal now. Like it's taken us a while to get to that, but like Bad News Brown gave him the okay, and that was like the story is Piper was racist. That was what he was. That was his thing. That was his character. So I mean, like if maybe they could do a disclaimer at the beginning. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel like it's different. Like we know Piper isn't racist. We know that.
Yeah,
because
it's entertainment.
Yeah,
but it's entertainment that lives within a realm where apparently we're still supposed to believe in it. Kind of like I don't know. And like kayfabe's dead, but I guess it's still alive in
I mean, that takes it into the whole area of why do wrestlers get in trouble for doing steroids if actors can't? Like they're not. It's not a sport. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but wrestling is predetermined.
Yes,
we might have just broken some minds out there, but it's not.
Well, unfortunately, I think
not an actual fight.
Bulldog would not have won the Royal Samovar Trophy if it was not predetermined.
That is true.
He would have been blown up from that previous match, whether he won it or not.
Which is horrifying because that match was not a good match. But again, for all we know, Bulldog was on crack and cocaine. Who knows?
Yeah,
Could have
crack cocaine. It's the same drug, but most of it, the different forms.
Well,
but
I don't know much about crack or cocaine. Okay.
I mean, well, yeah.
I prefer meth directly into the eyeball. You know that.
Oh, of course.
But yes, Piper's rambling. Lots of Piper.
He calls Flair a feather-wearing flocking freak.
Yeah.
And Mean Gene's like, did he say fuck?
Yeah, no, he did a really good job because if I tried to say that live, I would have said fuck 100%. That was very good enunciation on the Rowdy one's part.
Gene still looked at him like, did he?
Yeah, he's like, did he? I do love that though. Like that is the best part of these old live Gene things. Like when they fuck up, like in Gene, like just goes, oh fuck. Shit.
When the sign falls, there's like great compilations.
So many times he does not hold composure well when things go wrong, and it makes it better. But yeah, so Piper does a little interview, and mostly he's feuding with Flair, but also he might win the Battle Royal, but mostly Flair. He said something about going to a disco with a football player.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure Mean Gene implies that Mean Gene is going to fuck the queen later. I'm pretty sure. Because something about he's going to go have tea with her. I'm pretty sure I'm going to go fuck the queen. Which, that's a Mean Gene thing to do right there, right?
I mean,
because if you listen to Mean Gene, he's one of the best at like, he says something and then if you think about it, you're like, oh, wait a minute. That was a dick joke. Shit. Good job, Mean.
Especially in WCW. He got away with so much stuff there. If you listen to those interviews, like his, I can't remember. It was an early pay-per-view I watched, but he's there with Fifi, who is now Ric Flair's wife, Wendy Barlow, I believe is her,
Yeah.
But yeah, he was every single sign off when he would send it back to the table or to the ring was just like, oh my God, Gene, you could not say that.
Yeah, and so also just on the Gene thing, if you guys have not watched Legends House, please, for the love of God,
he's the
find it.
grumpiest curmudgeon.
All he
He's the
wants, he
best.
just
He's
wants
so
another
creepy.
drink. God damn it!
Yes.
Hillbilly,
He just
if you
wants to drink.
would just shut up so I can have my drink in peace. That was such a good series.
We have to do Legends House on The Sims. We have to do that.
I think we need to do I think we need to do a Legends House like actual review of the whole show too. I feel like that warrants its own episode because that was that show.
I thought they should have done more with that. And I don't know that they're going to do as much original stuff now with Peacock. I know that they're releasing stuff that they already had in the bag, but I don't know how much new content.
No, Legends House that was one of the coolest things they did. Like that, the Edge and Christian show was pretty good. The Swerved was pretty funny if you like that, the stupid pranks. I thought it was funny. But no, I'd say I'd put Legends House probably up there in like my top favorite, non-wrestling content they did. It was really good. Although I can never look at Tony Atlas seriously again because of his stupid derpy laugh. Dude, it's just can you guys
could never look at Tony Atlas seriously to begin with.
I mean, after we saw that, what was that lion like Africa outfit he wore for a while?
He's he's very into feet, and he's very open about it, and it's very weird. He's a very strange individual.
But yes,
anyway, about the Ric Flair interview fades out.
Yeah, so then we're backstage again. With guess who?
With Mean Gene.
And Jimmy fucking Hart. Who fucking could have guessed that one?
And they're grasping for time here because Typhoon doesn't have a singles match, but he's here with Jimmy Hart again, away from Earthquake, when they could have put these two together in an earlier interview and not wasted our fucking time.
Yes, and now here's where I note that they, I think in this interview they mentioned that the trophy is sterling silver at least 4 separate times. They really want you to know this is sterling silver right here. And then I also said, are Quake and Typhoon, is their gimmick that they're supposed to sound dumb? Because they gave Typhoon the mic here, and I didn't write it down, but it was in the lines of as dumb as Earthquake's earlier talking.
I didn't write down anything. I just know he was like, "Shut up, Mean Gene," and it was just not.
I did. Okay, no, I did write it right. So Gene asked Typhoon if it came down to he and Earthquake, what would happen? Because they're partners, and Typhoon's response is, "It's none of Gene's business." But he then answers that if it's up to him and that would be up to him and Earthquake. So it's none of his business, but I'll answer your question by not telling you an answer to your question. It was just 15 seconds of why is this happening? Just let Jimmy talk. As much as I don't want to hear him talk, it's better than what that was. And yeah, so the answer to the question is we don't know. Keep these guys off the mic. I like it. I love that Mean Gene, after he said the stupid thing, he basically called him out on giving him a non-answer. He's like, "That's bullshit answer. Fuck you." Get him, Gene. You fucking tell him. And then guess what? Guess what happens after this?
Another interview.
Directly into another fucking interview with 2 more guys that nobody cares about.
And Hercules here, it's Hercules and Paul Roma, Power and Glory, and Hercules here looks beat red and coked to the gills.
Oh,
he just looks so he's like,
I said that. I said, let's see how the promo goes. The first thing I said, what the fuck is Hercules' face doing? It is twitching and it's not good. I said, it looks like he's shitting aggressively right now, live. He's just shitting himself. And he's chews on a chain a little. It's just, can we, let's look at Roma. At least he's not a hideous giant red man.
Yep, and we've got another little fade out and fade in for another commercial break padding, and they come back in with LOD for another interview.
And it's another bad bad in the fact that this is
okay, but you can really tell that Hawk is definitely the talker of the two. I like this version of them the best, like in the red and without Paul Ellering, and before they had the puppet named Rocco and all that shit.
Fucking God, yes.
This is the best version of them in the WWF because Hawk isn't drunk. It's none of that LOD 2000 shit.
Yeah, wasn't Hawk also killed or almost he jumped?
He fell off the Titantron because he was all drunk.
And then we found out that Animal actually pushed him or something, and then that introduced Draws, right? That's how Draws got his debut.
Puke, who became Draws.
Yeah. Anyway,
Road Warrior Puke.
Anyway, fun fact of the Wild World of Wrestling: the guy who's now paralyzed debuted because a drunk man tried to kill himself, but his friend tried to save him, but actually was trying to kill him the whole time. Pro wrestling.
Yep.
So they're if you've seen any LOD interviews ever, it is what you'd expect. They're grunting and yelling, and Hawk is visibly drooling a lot of drool. He also, there's a couple things they say that if you think about it more, you're like, wait, so Hawk apparently was talking about things he dreams about, which includes swelling brains. That's a strange dream. He's called them swelled and gory. Get it? Instead of, whatever their name is, something and glory, power and glory. Now they're swelled and gory because they're going to beat him up. Clever. And then he says they may be in the Battle Royal later. They are, so I don't know why I said they may be.
Yeah. It might be 18 men, it might be 20. It's up to us.
And then Hawk, just for no reason and very poorly, throws in that "What a Rush" catchphrase. Because Gene's like, "What if you guys are in the Battle Royal?" And he goes, "Well, Mean Gene, what a rush." She's like, "What? That's not really okay." Well, so yeah, not very intuitively worked, but catchphrases must be caught.
The crowd goes for it.
I thought that was the end. But no, they give it to Animal now, right? So this is going on too long. Animal's now yelling about how many kids can be something, and they like gang fights, even though they're two people, so they're not really a gang. And then Hawk does a creepy fucking noise at Gene. Like, I don't know if he got like a little hard on, or it was creepy. I didn't like it. I was afraid for Mean Gene's life at that moment. And they wander off, and guess what? Not an interview. Holy shit. The interview segment of the show is over for now.
Yeah, finally. I missed those old tag belts, though. They had the cool... that was my favorite version of the WWF tag belts. And they were like that for basically all of the 90s, at least, right?
Yeah, but I think so.
I don't know why they change shit so much nowadays. Like, can you imagine if they changed other sports trophies?
Yeah, just constantly. Like, that's the whole point of, like, the Stanley Cup is it's the fucking Stanley Cup. It's one cup.
I don't know how they keep fitting names on there.
But yeah, so we're back to Gorilla and Sir Robert, and Gorilla with a very, questionable. When you pay too much attention to old shows like this, there's a lot of shit you go, well, hold on a second. Gorilla mentions that later tonight there's an unprecedented 20-man battle royal. I don't know if I'd say a 20-man battle royal is really unprecedented in wrestling.
No, it's not.
So yeah, so a little bit of exaggeration. And then we get into the match, Power and Glory, Hercules and Paul Roma. Also, I found out throughout writing this that I cannot spell Hercules to save my fucking life. I had to, I've got Hercules, Hercules. It's all, I can't spell it. But against Hawk and Animal. So I'm just going to refer to Hercules as Herc because his name's dumb.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
Hercules Hernandez.
This is where so Power and Glory don't get a theme song. They just kind of wander
like the
down.
Only heels.
Yeah, they just kind of
everybody else did.
Yeah, they just kind of wander out. I don't know if that was a mix up or like you said, maybe this is like leftover from the era, maybe. But it's just maybe they just didn't. Maybe they're like it sounds like they're pretty new as a tag team at this point. So maybe they just haven't figured out what their theme's going to be. Who fucking knows? But they don't get it.
Yeah,
and then we get the Legion of Doom, who obviously huge pop. They get
the Road Warrior pop.
Everybody loves them everywhere you go. And yeah. Also, I didn't realize, again, maybe it's just like hindsight, but Hawk and Animal are fucking jacked. Holy shit.
Oh, yeah.
They're monsters.
Yep.
Now, I'm sure they're on steroids, but still jacked. So,
absolutely.
And then you had...
But Hercules here looks like mid to late 90s Jake Roberts.
Yeah, no, so... And this ends up being a match, and I mentioned later, it's not a very long match, but I do say this match could have been a lot better if Hercules was replaced with anybody that could work even a little bit. Because he was not, he was like one of the perfect examples of guys that stay there because they're big, and that's why they're there. Like, that's the only reason he's there. Also, Gorilla likes to say unprecedented a lot because he says it like 4 times during this match.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's an unprecedented display of vocabulary.
So far, the first 2 minutes of this match had more wrestling than possibly the entire rest of the show. Because Hawk and Roma start off, and they start off with the test of strength, classic, and then they actually wrestle. They don't just go into a rest hold. They do some wrestling. Except then Herc and Animal get tagged in, and I did that. Well, there goes the wrestling portion of the match. And Hercules' offense is shitty punch, shitty punch, shitty punch. That's it. There's a pile driver on Hawk. It's cool to see pile drivers, in the Federation. We don't get that now. But then Hawk completely no-sells it. Just doesn't. He's just like, nope, you can't harm my head, you idiot. That's my strongest point. And then he hits a pretty big gorilla press on Paul Roma and throws him into Hercules. So that was cool. Hawk misses the top rope clothesline jump. That kind of scared me because he landed really awkwardly on his leg and rolled out of the ring. Yeah, I thought he blew his knee out. So luckily he didn't. It didn't look pretty at the time.
No.
And then Hercules can't lift up Hawk because even though he's big and jacked, he's not actually very strong. So it looks like shit when he tries to give him a top rope guillotine. It's more like a top rope. He just put his head into the rope, kind of. And then this is where I said I always hate it when there's 3 really good guys in a tag match and then one of them sucks because it drags the whole match down.
Right. And Hercules is definitely the weakest link here. Yeah. He looks like shit and he's working like shit. So I just think he's fucked up on something.
And so Animal gets tagged in. House of Fire, classic, Road Warriors. It's a big power bomb. Tag gets broken up. Roma hits a big cross body, but we get the power slam that we saw earlier, basically with Bossman Earthquake, except it's done perfectly clean here. And weirdly enough, though, that's the finish. A counter to a power slam finish. Like, we didn't get the rope. What is it? The Doomsday device, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah, off the top rope.
Yeah, we didn't get that. It's just Animal gets a clean pin, and that's the end of the match.
But hey, it's actually the first face victory of the entire night.
It was,
so
yes.
It still is kind of surprising.
I feel like it has to be because Jimmy Hart wasn't out there. So if Jimmy Hart's out there, the heel wins. I think is what we've taken away from this. If they're a heel with Jimmy Hart, they win. Except Flair.
Well, Undertaker won too. He just didn't get his theme song played.
But if you don't get to hear your music, do you really win?
Then the Mountie didn't win either. No, because they played.
But we like to hear. But hearing a hoe, everyone wins. So that was a draw. We'll call that a draw. Yeah, that was a draw.
Played Von Erich's music when they played Von Erich's music when the Mountie
this
won.
Whole show is fucking. It's like what? Like if you like house. So a lot of time at house shows, as we all know, the face is going to come out on top because it's a house show. It doesn't count. You just want the fans to be happy,
right?
So but why? Right. But if you want them to be happy, why wouldn't you just have the face fucking win in the first place? Why have the heels win to get none of it makes any sense.
It's stupid wrestling logic, and if they're going to do it right, they need to stagger it better so that it's less surprising or it doesn't build as much tension because it really dragged the show down to have every match end in a cheap heel victory.
Exactly. So
even if there was actually a clean heel victory, which they came close, I guess, in the Earthquake match, but Mountie still interfered. Yeah, Mountie even if it wasn't like
it wasn't like I don't know. It's classic Federation stuff where even to now, can we have clean finish? No clean finishes here.
Yeah, but here, of course, we get after this match.
No.
Another Oh, you're not done?
No, because I gave that a 5 out of 10. Tied for the best match of the night. I tied that with Santana and Flair. This one
I can't believe you're rating both of these above the Undertaker match.
That one, well, that's because that match was garbage. Well, these were garbage too, but that was more garbage. I gave it a bonus 2 stars for Paul Bearer. I think that should be that.
So you give it a 1 plus 2 for a total of 3.
Did I give it a 1 star? Oh no, did I? No, I gave it a 3 out of 10. I gave
Oh, so it
I gave
became
I gave the Mountie match a 1 out of 10 because that wasn't even a match.
okay.
No, I gave it would have been
My
yeah,
fault.
no. So but yes,
And
so
this
5
is
out of 10. It was other than Hercules, it's a fine tag match. The finish, I would have given it 6, but the finish was just it was dumb and flat, and so it loses a point. So it's tied up there. Still pretty average and phoned in, but yeah. And then we get back to interviews because that's what we came here for.
Of course, this entire event, I didn't time it, but I bet it would be about, well, almost tied for ring time and interview time.
If not skewed to, well, I mean, okay, so are we going to count ring time as the 5 minutes of the jacket spot? Does that count as ring time?
I would say bell to bell. So if the bell rings
Okay.
before the jacket spot,
Okay.
yes.
Okay,
But if
so-
it didn't until after, no.
Okay, so that either way, it's close. It's either close or way in favor of not wrestling, which again
Yeah.
is about. I don't know if you've seen any of the stats. I love that people keep track of on Raw, like on the 3-hour wrestling show. There's like 18 minutes of wrestling versus the 2-hour AEW where there's like like an hour and 10.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, Gene is with Davey Boy, and Davey Boy obviously is the big, he's the main event. He's the attraction. He's in London. He's British. That's all. There you go. You got the gist of this show.
It's a pretty short interview, and then they go from Gene to the ring with Lord Alfred Hayes.
Yes.
So they're they're just loading up with 2 Brits at once.
Yep, they're throwing them all out there right here.
And then Lord Alfred Hayes introduces the Barbarian to no music.
Yes, no music. He's just like he just comes out like it power and glory is whatever, but when you're wearing a full Barbarian outfit, having like even like a drum or something, just something. Right, because at this point he just looks like it's like, you look like a large child. Are you okay? Do you need your parents? Are you lost? And I did mention here in the thing, I said, "Oh God, he's wrestling the Barbarian. Why? I don't want to see this. The Barbarian sucks. Oh my God, this is a long, boring show. This is like a house show but worse. Oh my God.
Oh no, my light
this is
died.
So boring.
Oh well.
Oh,
we're near the end.
We're close. No one's gonna see our faces anyway. Lord Alfred Hayes is there doing I asked, I don't know, was he special guest ring announcer? I think he ends up wandering up to commentary during this match because he's on commentary for the Rumble or the Battle Royal.
Yes, so. The Battle Royal.
Yeah.
He's the special ring announcer, but and then he introduces Bulldog. They really probably just wanted him there to introduce Bulldog, but nobody really cared about Alfred Hayes. Like they introduced him, and nobody.
Which is sad because I've always liked him. He's always been one of my. He's up there. He's underrated, I think.
Yeah.
But yes, everything Bulldog does. Really everything he does, they go nuts for. Like he can shit his pants, and they'll fucking love it.
Yeah, once he starts sweating, his hair looks weird. I didn't realize his braids were like a mullet here.
Yeah,
so
it gets foofy like a dog. Yeah. But
it looks funny looking.
Yeah, well, okay, so what was the point of that? Okay, so I've got another what the fuck just happened. What was the point of that? They did the Irish whip spot, but Barbarian was facing the other way, and so Bulldog, the spot where you Irish whip and then you do the jump over him or the slide under him. So they did that, except Bulldog went to the ropes and Barbarian didn't turn around. And then Bulldog slid under his legs from behind, in front of him, and then he put him in a headlock. Like what?
Yep. Most of this match was headlocks and arm bars. After that,
I gave Bulldog a tiny bit of credit because at least he did some of those. Like I like it. It's one of my favorite like moves in games where you do like the handstand knee drop onto a body part. So at least he mixed it up a little bit. Give him that, but lots of boring stuff.
There's a spot here where Davey Boy takes a boot to the face from Barbie, and he spins out as he falls to sell, and it actually looks really good. That's like my favorite spot in the match, is the big boot, which is weird.
Yeah, there's a pile driver that looked okay. Again, just because Bulldog took it like, you know how RVD takes like spike, like DDTs, where you're like, how is his neck not broken? That's kind of what it was, so it looked really good. Terrible looking second rope elbow drop attempt by Barbarian, and missed it. when you can tell they don't know how to do elbow drops and they know the guy's going to move, so they're kind of like prepping themselves to land. You could tell like, as soon as he went, you're like, no, he's not going to hit that. Hanging vertical suplex, which is nice. Not as like I'm more used to Bulldog with the vertical suplex. Like they're up there for 10, 15 seconds. This was not. This was like 3 or 4, but Barbarian sucks, so he was probably not making it easy.
Or he's just super heavy.
Yeah. At this point, I put in a new shirt idea that I think we need to look into. Rest Hold City.
Oh yeah.
So Brock Lesnar maybe Suplex City, but this show is fucking Rest Hold City, London, because that's all it is. And then I think the first actual finishing maneuver to win a match on this show, Davey Boy hits the running power slam.
Yep.
Hey. And that's
there was I forgot to mention though, there was a spot where like Bulldog had a minor nosebleed, and Gorilla, and it's probably from doing coke or something, and Gorilla was like, "Oh, a bit of crimson there from the Bulldog."
That's what I thought too. I was like, "Oh no, he did too much coke right before the match." Oh no.
Because it didn't look like anything. Like it looked like just a little bit on his nose.
Yeah, so I gave that one another. It seems to be a recurring theme. 3 out of 10. Pretty boring. If they put anybody in there that could work even a little bit, would have been at least a 5, I'm sure. Because Bulldog works good with people. Like if you put Michaels or Jannetty in there with him, boom, 2 more stars. Just because they know how to work. Barbarian does not, and his gimmick is dumb, and his outfit is stupid, and I hate him. So there's that. And then here we go again, back to Mean Gene, and
Jimmy Hart and the Nasty Boys.
And again,
they started.
Yep, and again they let the Nasty Boys talk, and again I put, why do they let them talk? Just let Jimmy talk. I didn't even comment.
And Jimmy does not stop jumping.
No,
like once he stops talking, he starts jumping, and then he does not stop jumping.
Yeah,
so if you're gonna go back and watch anything from this event, just watch Jimmy Hart jumping up and down in place.
Dude, it's like he's Steve Harris on stage. That's exactly what he's doing. He's just doing that fucking little hop.
He can't find the bathroom every time they're doing an interview. He's like, "Well, baby, I was gonna go run take a pee, baby, but you didn't be back on the interview
right away." And here we go, Battle Royal time, baby. And I did because I'm an idiot and I didn't actually look up this show. The results does show who came in what order. I wrote them all down, and I'll run through them when we get into it. And I also, for fun little bonus, gave out an MVP to the person with the most eliminations. I kept track of everyone's elimination totals, too. Because I pay way the fuck too much attention to stupid shit. So, obviously, it's a Battle Royal, so I hate it because everybody just comes out and is in the ring, which means no good spots can happen until there's space in the ring. So it's going to be 5-10 minutes of stupid. But yeah, everyone's out there.
It's a weird battle royal to begin with because they keep playing the what's it going to happen if it comes down to the 2 of you? There are fucking 6 tag teams in this thing.
Yeah, the whole thing is fucking tag. And we all know the Bulldog's going to win. Like we know that.
Are Bulldog, Von Erich, Taker, Mountie, Bossman, Duggan, Flair, and Piper.
Yeah.
Everybody else is a tag team. Yeah. So every interview all night is exactly the same story. So, gentlemen, what's going to happen if it comes down to you 2?
Yeah.
There's fucking 6 teams. But everybody here gets an entrance, which I think is something that maybe Tony Khan could learn because they needed to do that for the Dynamite Diamond. Like, I get that MJF needed that cool video package and he got the entrance, but come on, man. Everybody needs an entrance. Entrances get people over.
Even if it's just music and walk to the ring.
Quick rundown.
Yeah, just let them do it. It's fine. Like the Rumble, I like how they do it. They still get their entrance, but it's abbreviated. Well, usually. Some of the wrestlers still do their whole entrance, which annoys me. You're like, okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, how are you going to fucking put Malachi Black in a battle royal by just having him walk down to the ring during a commercial?
No, one of the coolest, most metal characters in wrestling. You're just going to have him wander down to the ring. Come on now. Have him fucking, spawn through the ring with his devil thing on, and the ring catches on fire, everyone flees, and then he wins. I just made a fucking angle. That would be, who would approve of that? That'd be Russo approved right there. I tell you
You're
what,
not wrong.
he'd be into that. So yeah, so everyone in this match: Kerry Von Erich, Earthquake Typhoon, Tito, Jalapeno, Santana, the Mountie, HBK and Jannetty, Barbarian, Bossman, Hercules, Roma, Duggan, Knob, Sags, Flair, Hawk Animal, Bulldog, Taker, and Piper. The only two that haven't, I think there's only two that haven't wrestled tonight that are in this. That's Typhoon, still not sure why he didn't wrestle. And then Piper, I'm assuming because they had to bribe Piper to do this. Like, he's probably like, okay, but I'm not having a fucking match. They're like, okay, whatever you say.
Can you imagine Piper and Bossman versus the Natural Disasters? That would have been a weird match.
Like, I wonder if that's why him and Typhoon didn't have like a singles. Maybe there was supposed to be something, and Piper just like, no. And they're like, okay, all right, well, fine. So yeah, at the beginning I said my assumption, and I guessed. I bet you can guess my pick to win this, Shawn.
Oh yeah, of course it was Bulldog.
I was gonna say I guess Roma, but no, I guess Bulldog. Obviously, of course, Bulldog's gonna win it. It's a house. I mean, it's funny though because like nowadays, even in house shows, Vince like refuses to let people win in their hometown. Like it's against the rules. He has to bury them.
Yep.
Like it's just Vince has some weird fetishes, and one of them is burying people in their hometown. It's his favorite thing.
His favorite thing to do.
But yeah,
especially JR. He loved to do that.
Yeah, I said I obviously thought Bulldog's going to win. I said I don't see a heel winning the Rumble or the Battle Royal. Flair could, but I assume my guess was Piper and Flair were going to eliminate each other in some sort of double elimination, so neither of them looks bad, and then Bulldog wins it. Turned out to be wrong on that one, so not great guessing. But I then said I don't like Battle Royals much. Too many guys in there. They're all big. They can't work. This is going to be crap. So yeah, the match starts out. Everyone's kicky punchy. Flair and Piper immediately just get the fuck out of there. They bail out under the bottom rope and just fight outside. Smart on them. Get away from all these dudes that are just, not paying attention.
Right.
There was a cool little spot where we saw Flair and HBK getting into it there, which, barring maybe a Rumble, like maybe this upcoming Royal Rumble, I'm pretty sure that's the first and only time we see Michaels and Flair fighting up until the Flair, the DX Evolution, Michaels Flair retirement stuff. So that was kind of.
And they're trying to tell a story here with Flair and Piper, which is interesting because the real story is actually Flair and Hogan. I guess they're kind of using Piper as a surrogate to continue the story that Flair's the real champion. Yeah. But I don't know if you remember, I'm pretty sure Flair and Piper had a 2-day run as tag team champions about 20 years after.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So actually, I did put a fun note in here. The movie Semi-Pro, classic, Will Ferrell.
Oh, yeah.
Every Battle Royal, the beginning of it reminds me of that scene where, they turn the camera off. And then somebody hits somebody, and they all start beating the shit out of each other. Because Battle Royals, they all politely walk to the ring, and they all stand there, politely until the bell rings, and then they all start punching. Like, what? If
it always looks like shit.
Yeah, just that. It doesn't make sense. Like, why would these big bad heels be like, "I'm going to beat you up, but I can't do it till I hear it"? But are they like Festus? They can't fight until they hear the bell, and then by the way, underrated gimmick. People that can only wrestle when they hear a bell. So funny when they would use that as a comedy thing, and someone would ring bell, and you'd be like, duh. And then Jesse would run out and ring it again. Oh, he got the bell. Oh, it's a whole little subplot. It's great. That was horrible. What a waste of talent to make him into Festus. Jesus.
He's clearly his best character is Sex Ferguson,
without a doubt. I think didn't he trademark that after they left? I think he's got that trademarked. I think he's trademarked
because they might have Tex Ferguson, but he did have Sex Ferguson first.
Yeah,
so I think
it might even be his Twitter handle. I don't know, but yes, Sex Ferguson is best.
I'm unfortunately sad they're back in Impact right now. I want to see more of them in AEW in the future.
Yeah, hopefully. We'll see. I don't know. It just feels like when they're not in Japan, they're just being wasted at all times. Honestly, even in AEW, they didn't do much.
Sour boy.
Yeah. So I'm not gonna do a fucking play-by-play of this whole stupid thing. they are continuing a plot point, though. Again, that Taker has an immortal ball sack because they do a spot where Piper bounces Taker on the top rope, ball first, and Taker no sells it, and Paul Bearer is out there yelling no, and I'm pretty sure he's orgasming. He's fucking jizzing in his pants with that face like woo. So things we learned from the show. I don't know if it's canon because it's a house show, but Taker may or may not have immortal testicles. We don't know.
I could see him no selling that.
Yeah, but
I could see that.
Yeah, it seems like
Piper eliminates Taker and Taker eliminates Piper. You know, that's its own.
Okay, so there were a couple dumb spots.
They try to get into a brawl, and then Bear gets Taker's attention with the urn and distracts him.
Taker gets a fucking whiff, and he's like, "Oh shit, okay, fuck this." And then you see Piper like try and chase him, and like a bunch of dudes are like, "No."
He's busy with the urn.
But there's a bunch of dumb places, and there's a couple things like that I had to adjust the elimination totals because Piper tossed Undertaker, which is cool, but then Undertaker just straight up basically caused Piper to get eliminated. So I didn't give Undertaker that elimination because technically, he did it, but I didn't give him the elimination credit. So technically, there are only 18 eliminations in this because Taker didn't get credit. Piper didn't get eliminated by anybody, really. Because there's no rules yet, and it doesn't matter. So anyone can do whatever. Because there's also a spot, I think is it Jim Duggan? Where he does something dumb and he's eliminated, and then he just comes in and throws somebody out. I recall something like that happening too. I
can't remember that one. I remember there was a weird miscommunication spot with Mountie and Typhoon where they were supposedly working together, but it somehow led to Mountie getting eliminated by Boss Man, I think.
Yeah,
but it was weird.
Yeah. And also interesting that Piper cleanly eliminated Flair, just straight up.
Oh yeah.
I didn't expect Flair to just be like, yeah, fuck it. I mean, he makes up for it. He makes up for it.
3 months, he went on to win that Royal Rumble for the
so
WWF
he makes
title.
up for it. But so we get down to the final four. You got Mountie, Typhoon, Bossman, and Bulldog. I wonder what's going to happen. Oh, yeah, it's heels versus faces. There's the obligatory somebody punched Jimmy Hart off of the apron spot. Bossman punches him and then gets tossed. So Bossman, weirdly enough, fun fact, Bossman did not get any eliminations in this match. Eliminated no man.
Yeah.
And then
I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, and then they do some of that, where they're not really teammates, but they work together and they fuck up, and so Typhoon basically accidentally eliminates the Mountie. So Bulldog and Typhoon are the last two, and then you get the Bulldog obviously wins, and it's pretty much the finish you'd expect of a big guy runs at the guy. He lowers his shoulder and the big guy just kind of stumbles over him and outside.
Bumps himself over.
Yeah. So it wasn't like a clean Bulldog didn't do some amazing, he coked himself out, gorilla press Typhoon over the top rope. It was pretty tame.
I feel like, Typhoon was probably the guy booked to be the big guy because he was the one who was most comfortable just dumping himself over the ropes. Yeah. And I mean, just 2 years from now, he'd go on to be the Shockmaster and be famous for dumping himself through a wall.
Yeah, so British Bulldog wins. He wins the Silver Cup of Sterling Cup.
The Royal Samovar Trophy.
Yes, what he just said. I gave it a 3.
Dan Spivey's Prince Albert Memorial Battle Royal Trophy.
I gave it a 3 out of 10 because it was kind of shit, and I hate Battle Royals. I almost gave it none just to do a shout out to the EWR, where I don't rate Battle Royals. I love that review. But so Bulldog won, and Piper actually got MVP because Piper eliminated 3 men. So he led in eliminations. After him, you had Flair, Typhoon, Mountie. There's a couple guys that all had 2 eliminations, but Piper had 3. Yep. So.
And Quake and Typhoon gang up on Bulldog, and somebody must have smartened up Lord Alfred Hayes. Unfortunately, Lord Alfred Hayes kind of steps all over Gorilla and Bobby's rhythm that they had for the rest of the show. Yeah. The commentary here isn't as fun as it has for the rest of the night.
And so here, actually,
Lord Alfred Hayes is like, somebody come out and help in the most shitty it doesn't seem believable at all. But here comes Andre.
Right, and so it's interesting because I know that you had mentioned this, like when we were first requested to do this, that he was in it, but I totally forgot by the time I watched it. And so I was actually figuring, so Earthquake and Typhoon beating up Bulldog. I'm guessing Piper's going to run back out, make the save. Nope, Andre, and it's bittersweet, right? Because it's really cool to see Andre. I love Andre. By all accounts, he's one of the best dudes in wrestling, right? He's always trying to help out others. He's nice. Everyone loves him, except the great Antonio. He might not love him very much because I'm pretty sure he shot on him too, just like Inoka did. But
I think he also didn't like King Kong Bundy and a few other guys that were big guys.
Yeah. But yeah, the guys that are like, no, I don't want to bump. And you're like, you're going to bump for fucking Andre. Sorry. Yeah. You're just going to do it. But yeah, so he said he walks to the ring, and we say walk. Not really.
He's got a cane, he's got gray in his mutton chops. This is the oldest I've ever seen.
Yeah, he doesn't look well. He doesn't look like he doesn't even look. You could tell doesn't. I don't even know if he's all there. He just doesn't seem like it's like someone said, "Hey Andre, go out now," and he just okay.
So this isn't so I think this is one of his last televised appearances for the WWF. It might be the last, but he apparently did a couple more shows after this in Bulldog's Corner.
Yeah.
And then he went on to do a couple tours in All Japan, one in Mexico, and he appeared on a WCW Clash of the Champions in '92. But I was under the impression for quite some time that WrestleMania 6 was the last televised Andre appearance. Pretty sure it was just the last televised Andre match for the WWF.
But it seems like, at least from the the little there is documenting this, that this may be the last like actual recording of Andre in any wrestling ring. So like the Japan tour, the Mexico tour, unless there's fan footage, we're pretty sure this is the last time you see Andre live on video. Which is, I'm guessing, why this was requested, because if not, please, it was Nick that gave us this one, right?
Yep.
Nick, please tell us why, if it wasn't for Andre, you wanted us to watch this, because I honestly am not sure, unless you were trolling us and you want us to be sad. But my assumption is because he knows it's Andre's last show, so it is a special historic show. So it and again, I think that's why. I don't know. Is that maybe why it's documented? Because you think they could have done any of the other ones too. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, we'll have to check out and see what his involvement is in that Clash of the Champions for WCW, because that would have been after this, but it's for WCW. So I'm not sure how well it was hyped or who knew about it.
Right.
So
okay. But
this might have been the bigger deal. But I also don't know. This event is a strange one, because I don't know if it ever actually came out in the US on US video.
Okay.
So I looked at the cover. I thought it was Coliseum Video, but the actual VHS cover is a different company that wasn't Coliseum Video. So it might have only been
Coliseum did all of the Canadian at the time. So
yeah, it was basically the name of WWF Home Video back when Vince wanted everything to sound like different companies, like Titan Sports, Coliseum Video, et cetera, et cetera. It wasn't just the giant WWF conglomerate that it went on to be when it was a public company.
Yeah, but Hayes does mention that he's walking poorly due to a knee operation. I'm not sure if that's actually true or if it's just because Andre's pretty much immobile at this point. It could be both. I don't know. But it's sad to see him come out there with that.
I'm not really sure how his health was, but it's obviously not great enough to be really working.
No, and so Andre basically.
It's surprising that he's here, because travel is one of the hardest things for him.
So Andre,
maybe he was already in France, and they just called him up.
Yeah, I don't know, but Andre he helps Bulldog. I think the only thing Andre really does is he hits the guy with the cane, and when you're that out of it, it's not a great look. It didn't look like a great hit, but it doesn't matter. It's the moment that matters here. So Andre helps Bulldog fight him off. Bulldog gets a celebration with the Royal Prince Albert Dick Pierced Trophy of the Queen, or whatever it's called.
the Royal Samovar that the teacup falls off into the ring as soon as he raises it up.
I want to make sure. I was wondering if I imagined that, because I would not go back and check. But I thought I saw something just break off immediately. So.
It was like, I think the teacup was like sitting on it, because it's like a spout, like to serve tea or something, like a samovar.
Yeah.
And so like It's like got a spigot on it, but I think there was a teacup sitting on it, like a sterling silver teacup, and he just like picked the whole thing up and dumped the teacup because I think he bends over to pick it up. I didn't
Yeah.
want to go back and watch either, but
Yeah. So
there is
yeah.
that back 15 seconds button, so you
But
can.
I couldn't use it very much because I don't know about you, but the night I was trying to watch this, my Peacock app was being garbage. Like it was
Oh,
busted.
it's always garbage, and
Yeah.
I have the quote unquote free version or the cheap one with a bunch of commercials
So did
because
I. Yep.
it's free with my cable.
One
So
thing I will
was like,
say
well, I'm
about
not
that,
gonna-
at least on mine, I mean, I think I paid the $5.99 a month for it, but at least
Yeah.
they put the commercial breaks where the commercials would go. That was nice of them.
Right.
Because I know a lot of
They
times
do that with
do they do that frequently?
with like everything.
Okay,
So
cool.
it's actually kind of nice to watch like an old Heat or whatever. Like I've been watching a lot of old Sunday night Heats. I don't know why, but they were really good when the show first started. Like when it first came on, they were like trying to make that show serious.
Oh, right. I was thinking of when Raven basically took it over, but that was a bit later, huh?
No, this was like in '98,
Oh, okay.
and Shane McMahon was the main commentator with JR or somebody at the time. It would be like Jim Cornette and Shane McMahon, and they were great together.
Yeah. So yeah, Bulldog wins. Andre's there. Happy, feel good end of the show. As is standard, I gave the entire show a 3 out of 10.
Oh, Jesus.
Because it's about right. I was gonna go with a 2, but I gave them a bonus star just because Andre was there. So 2 out of 10. Andre made it a 3. It was terrible. Felt like a house show. It's long, plodding. Maybe I'm spoiled, but this just, even for like knowing that I've seen a lot of slow, boring matches, this felt especially slow and boring.
Right.
And if they wanted to, they could have put on a better show. Like just like swap out Barbarian for Bret Hart. Boom, banger of a match right there, done. They could have, but they didn't. So it's whatever.
I don't know why Bret Hart's not here, and I feel like that's really weird for a European show in '91.
Yeah, so
because in '92 he was champion.
Yeah,
so weird.
Yeah, so my summary of this show is, unless you're even if you're a Bulldog, Mark, if you watch this, just skip to the final 4 of the Battle Royal, watch from there, and you'll be happier with your life that you didn't see the whole rest of the show.
Unless you're a 1991 super fan, there's probably no reason to go back and check this one out. There's better events from that time as well. So like I said, unless you're tired of watching stuff like Royal Rumble 92, one of the best Royal Rumbles there is, unless you're tired of going back and watching stuff like that, there's really no reason to go back and watch this one or put yourself through I politely call it torture.
Yeah, and then I did because I've decided it's my thing, it's my gimmick. You got to go with it. I stole the NHL 3 stars format, so we got 3 stars.
Oh, yeah.
So the third worst, second next, first is the So the third star is actually I immediately cheat and break my gimmick because I gave it to Robert F. Heenan / Gorilla Monsoon / Gene Okerlund.
Okay.
So as
the announced group.
as a group, they're the third star because can you imagine if this show had been like boring commentators too? Oh my god, it'd be miserable.
Yeah, I'll give that to you to just give it to the whole announced crew.
So
I mean, I would say minus Lord Alfred Hayes. I would not put him in there.
I did not include him. It's just those 3.
Okay.
So yeah. And without the fantastic commentary and all of Gene's fantastic one-liners, this would have been way worse and way harder to watch than it already was. Second star, I gave to the Boss Man because he did have a pretty good showing throughout the night. Despite being blown up, he still moved around. He still did good. Again, didn't know his punches were so good. So I could have given it to Flair or Santana or Piper just because. But yeah, Boss Man worked, I think, the hardest on this show. So I'll give that to him. And then the first star is it's Bulldog. It's his show. You can't. Right. It's hard to not give it to him. But I did break it again and immediately gave a bonus star to Andre. So bonus star is Andre. That's pretty much everything I've got here. I put a note that I Googled it. This is one of his last appearances. We already went over that, so don't need to revisit that. And that was the Royal Battle Hall Rumble at London, Queenstown, England, Albert Theatre. Is that the title?
The Duchess of Queensberry Battle Royal.
Yeah, or whatever this thing was that we just watched. But we have much more interesting things coming.
Oh yes, up on the docket here.
Yeah, that we're actually interested in. So we've decided this year, since we're going to try and keep this podcast going and not disappear for multiple years again.
Yeah, that'd be, consistency would be key.
Yeah, we're gonna try.
We're gonna try
to do a steady schedule. And this upcoming year, we've decided to do it was 20 and 25 year anniversary reviews, basically, of the WWE/F pay-per-views from, so it was 03 and 97.
02 and 97.
02 and math is hard. So yeah. So we're gonna be each month. So January, we're gonna watch whatever it's obviously Royal Rumble both times, but we'll watch each Rumble one, and then on Friday we'll throw that podcast out with our basically like this, but hopefully the match is it's not 3 hours of nothing happening.
Yeah. Well, and I'll be able to probably cross-reference some different research and stuff because there'll be more heavily covered shows, so we can even bring up some news surrounding the event, storylines, because they won't be cold matches.
Yeah, so it'll be
interesting stuff, and obviously we want to take questions. So, what is our email address?
TalkingSmark@gmail.com, I believe. It makes sense. We need to get a tweeter set up, huh?
Yes, let's.
We'll have to figure that out.
We might have to re-record. We might have to re-record an outro once we have all that set up.
No, this is the first take, dude. We do it live. I don't think we need to, guys. With the next one, we'll have
TalkingSmarkWrestling@gmail.com. TalkingSmarkWrestling@gmail.com.
And
if you have suggestions for upcoming events as well, because we're going to leave about one a month blank.
Yeah.
For listener suggestions, or for if we feel like we want to cover something just to cleanse the palate of 97 and 02.
Yeah, exactly.
Even though 97 is a great year, we get to watch the Attitude Era. We get we get to watch the Montreal Screwjob towards the end of the year.
We'll see the entire evolution of DX, basically.
Yeah, in 2002, we get to see the NWO and WWE. We get to see the first roster split. We get to see Eric Bischoff. We get to see the elimination.
I was going to say O2. Yeah, that was the Elimination Chamber, which was in Phoenix. Fun enough. So we both could have gone to that, and I don't think either of us did.
No. I went to the one in 2017. Okay. That's the one I went to.
Yeah. So we got a lot of stuff coming. Mania March, we've decided to name it because we're only reviewing WrestleManias, and trust us, it's going to make no sense because we've actually got scheduled like backwards. Like we're doing like 97, and then like the next week we're reviewing I think 96 or something like that.
Yeah.
And then
we're doing I think we're gonna do 13 and then 12.
Yeah. So we're doing that.
And then we're gonna
we're doing that to fuck with you guys. So it's fine. Don't worry about it.
I think we're gonna do 18 and 17. We're doing like 13, 12, 18, 17, something like that.
Actually, so basically what we're doing is until we have some more viewer suggestions, we're just kind of grabbing stuff we want to watch, basically. So in the next couple months, I think I chose 1 or 2 AEW pay-per-views because if we're gonna watch stuff, we might as well watch the best stuff. Cough, cough. But I think also you said that wasn't that the year TNA started?
So 2002 is the year that the TNA started up too. So we might want to cover some of those early. We could cover the first TNA event.
Maybe, we'll do something like that.
They did the weekly pay-per-views back then. Yeah. So the weekly, it's a different format. We obviously aren't going to cover every TNA weekly pay-per-view probably, but
I'd rather not, but
but some of that early stuff is highly entertaining if you look at it through the lens of, oh my God, Vince Russo.
Oh my God, is Ken Shamrock main eventing this? What year is this?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And then you've got Puppet, the Psycho Dwarf. You've got the Johnsons, I think, are a tag team there.
So from that TNA, just offhand, is anyone like big TNA guys? Like, were they there? Was Samoa Joe there yet?
In 02, I think AJ Styles was already there.
Okay. Because AJ was there like when they became TNA, NWA TNA. Like he was there through that whole thing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. So AJ would have been there. And I think
a couple
you might see Kazarian, you might see James Storm, Bobby Roode, I think was already in Team Canada. Gotcha. Eric Young and Bobby Roode.
Oh yeah, this is way before any of them did their. I forgot they were all Team Canada back then. That's right. With what's their
with Elix Skipper, I think was still part of Team Canada. He was like the one leftover piece of WCW because WWE didn't take him. They took Lance Storm.
I don't know.
They did not take Elix Skipper, unfortunately.
Yeah,
but yeah,
we got a lot of stuff coming up, guys. We got plans. So shoot us anything you want by the next podcast. So when you guys get this, I think this should come out the beginning of January, I think was the plan. So
yeah,
something like that.
Who knows?
Yeah.
When it drops, and then from then on, you'll probably start seeing the rest of them drop weekly.
Yep, we're gonna try and drop them on Friday, I think is our current plan. We'll update you if that changes, and we will get a tweeter set up, which will make requests and stuff easier than emailing, because who the fuck does that anymore, right?
Yeah, but for now, send those into TalkingSmarkWrestling@gmail.com, and when we get that Twitter set up, we'll put it in, show notes or in YouTube description, etc.
You could also don't forget to like the Facebook page. That helps.
Oh yeah,
like the YouTube, all that, and wherever this is up at, if there's a like or follow, hit whatever buttons you can. Hit all the good buttons,
all the good buttons, and if you want to smash them and press them, make sure it's an odd number of times.
Yes, absolutely. But yeah, if you want to shoot them, email us. Like you said, we'll get other stuff set up. You could also hit us up on the Facebook page and comment on it. We both have access to it, so one of us will see that as well. So yeah, this has been a 3-hour. You can call it a wrestling show, I guess. It technically was.
Yeah. All right.
Well, we'll see you guys next time.
Bye-bye.